Chapter 518. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? I'll provide you with wonderful novels to read. Of course, a man should strive for self-improvement. It's normal to take revenge and complain. Love go little say, Chu Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. Then I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. Aunt Fei isn't telling you this to pressure you. Just follow your heart. As long as you don't go against your conscience, it's fine. Wu Lingfei turned to Night Sorrow. She didn't want to affect Night Sorrow's state of mind because of this conversation. That would be a serious problem. In the early stages of cultivation, true qi and cultivation were more important. But in the later stages, it was the state of mind. If the state of mind was low, then it would be difficult to raise one's realm. It would also be easy to develop a heart demon, leading to cultivation deviation. Soon, the two returned to Waterfront City and teleported to Dongxian City. Back in Dongxian City, Wu Lingfei brought Night Sorrow to the city lord's mansion to see Kuan Nan and Dai Tianxiang. The high-level dark creatures in the death space connected to the Black Island have all been killed. There shouldn't be any left. I've left a small team behind to guard it. Next, arrange for cultivators under the 5th stage to enter the death space once or twice a year. That way, the dark creatures won't be able to grow. As for the transfer of people, you can communicate with the 7 great sections. If their disciples are willing to enter, then let them. If not, use the city lord's mansion's people, Wu Lingfei said to Kuan Nan. This subordinate understands. This matter will be handled well. Kuan Nan said. Elder Kuan Nan, your attainments and formations are not bad. Later, seal the passage. Make the seal stronger. You'll open it every time the trial is held. That way, no one will barge in and cause trouble. Wu Lingfei thought for a moment before giving another order. After everything was done, Wu Lingfei and Night Sorrow returned to the mansion. When they returned, they saw Ling Long. However, Ling Long looked at Night Sorrow with dissatisfaction. Mistress Wu, why didn't you bring Ling Long along? Ling Long asked. Wu Lingfei brought Night Sorrow to the death space and didn't bring her along. She felt very regretful in her heart, and this was also the reason why she was dissatisfied with Night Sorrow. The spatial tunnel is suppressed by the power of law. I can't bring 2 people with me, but Night Sorrow knows the route and can lead the way. Alright, you guys go ahead. Wu Lingfei nodded to Night Sorrow and Exquisite and walked towards the tower. Did you get a lot of benefits this time? Ling Long asked. Not bad, just some materials. Night Sorrow said with a smile. In fact, he could understand Ling Long's mentality. It was just like back in Bamboo Garden Village, when Father Gu and the others went to Gunnan Town, they didn't bring him along. Was the battle intense? Exquisite followed Night Sorrow to the backyard. Very intense. While replying to Ling Long, Night Sorrow greeted Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu, who had just stopped fighting in the yard. After sitting down, Night Sorrow casually talked about the hidden fog beast. Of course, Night Sorrow didn't mention Wu Lingfei's situation. He just said that the hidden fog beast's soul had been destroyed. Not afraid of energy attacks, and that sword and spear had no effect. Her talent is too strong. However, Aunt Fei is stronger. Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. That's right. The problem of the dark space can be considered solved. The crisis will no longer exist. Night Sorrow nodded. After staying for a while, Ling Long left. Night Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu drank tea. Chuyu, is there any news from your family? Night Sorrow asked. No. Even if my family reacted, it won't be so fast. They also have to go through the normal channels to come here. Sikong Chuyu said. The 2 girls knew that there was a strategic teleportation formation between the Eastern Profound region and the Tianji Tower. However, it was an absolute secret and they did not know the exact location. With the strategic teleportation formation, one could teleport to the underground palace of the headquarters of the Tianji Tower. However, even venerated realm experts would need some time to travel there. After having dinner with the two girls, Knight Sorrow went into seclusion. He wanted to improve his true chi cultivation to the 6th level of the Void Inquiry stage. Not long after entering the death space, Knight Sorrow reached the peak of the 5th level of the Void Inquiry stage. After settling down, he was already on the verge of breaking through. Seeing Knight Sorrow going to break through, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu exchanged glances. There was already a gap between them and Knight Sorrow. They had just reached the 5th level of the Void Inquiry stage not long ago, but Knight Sorrow was already advancing towards the 6th level of the Void Inquiry stage. This was the gap between them. This guy has already caught up to the results of our years of hard work after just a few years of bitter cultivation. Yang Lei said. This is just what we can see. The energy in his body and the cultivation of his soul are both increasing. These invisible strengths are even more terrifying. Sikong Chuyu said. His rapid improvement will save us a lot of trouble. It will also be easy to solve your problem. Yang Lei said. Actually, with Aunt Fei's help, as long as my family members aren't stupid, they won't stop you. Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. In the Sikong clan, Sikong Tianyu reported to Sikong Tianding about his meeting with Sikong Chuyu and his investigation of Knight Sorrow. With spirit stones to pave the way, it was still possible for Sikong Tianyu to investigate some of Knight Sorrow's growth experiences. He is not even 20 years old yet, but his cultivation base is close to the peak of the 5th level of the Void Inquiry stage. He has been fighting against opponents who are at a higher level than him. This is too shocking. Sikong Tianding muttered in a low voice. As for his family background, Chuyu vaguely mentioned that Ji Yu's clan isn't strong enough. We know that Chuyu has never lied or boasted, so there is no need for her to tell us half of the story. There should be something that I haven't found out yet. However, on the surface, he seems to be an orphan who was adopted. Sikong Tianyu said. This is the problem. If there is an actual family background, everything will be clear. However, this adoption may be the problem. The most important thing is that Lord Golden Phoenix has spoken. Our Sikong clan can't reject her. Sikong Tianding said after thinking for a while. Only, Yi Zheng's edition, all his S0 edition U is a pirate % edition during this period of time. The news of the war between the Qing Tian region and the Eastern Xian region had spread, and Jin Huang's name spread again. Jin Huang was the city lord of the Eastern Xian city and the lord of the Tianji Tower in the Eastern Xian region. However, no one knew Jin Huang's appearance and background. This was the biggest secret. Yes. Lord Golden Phoenix asked me to pass a message to Granduncle. It seems like she knows Granduncle. Otherwise, she wouldn't have said that. Sikong Tianyu said. Actually, these aren't very important. Tianyu, what do you think of that young man? Is Chuyu happy over there? Sikong Tianding asked. If the conversation at the beginning was for the sake of the clan's interests, then now, Sikong Tianding was asking as a father. Very good. Anyway, I like him very much. I believe third brother will like him too. If he still can't enter the eyes of our Sikong clan, no one will be able to marry Chuyu. Sikong Tianyu said. Chapter 519. Geniuses remember love in 1 second? We will provide you with interesting novels to read. Next, Sikong Tianding and Sikong Tianyu went to meet the old ancestor of the Sikong clan, Sikong Luyan. Then, Sikong Tianyu reported the results of his investigation. Sage Golden Phoenix. With a sage backing him, there's no need to talk about his family background. If he is outstanding, we shouldn't interfere in this matter. It's fine as long as Chuyu likes him. Sikong Luyan nodded after listening to Sikong Tianyu's report. Granduncle, that Knight Sorrow is very outstanding. He might not even be 20 years old yet, but he is already at the peak of the 5th level of the Void Inquiry stage. The geniuses of the other clans are nothing compared to him. Besides, he is also very humble. Sikong Tianyu told him what he knew about Knight Sorrow. That's good. If you have time, you should go there again and ask them to visit our clan. Don't feel pressured. Lord Golden Phoenix is destined to be a person who can suppress an era. If there is a conflict between the Eastern Xian region and the Qingtian region, perhaps we can stay out of it because of Chu Yu. Sikong Luyun said to Sikong Tianding and Sikong Tianyu. Granduncle, it's not suitable for us to have too much contact with the Eastern Xian region for the time being. After all, we are a force of the Qingtian region. We can't allow others to criticize us. This will be detrimental to the development of our clan. Sikong Tianding said. You're right. Tianding, you have a strong view of the overall situation. This is also the reason why I put you in charge of the clan without worry. The current situation is rather chaotic. What we need to do is to protect ourselves. In such a chaotic world, a single mistake will cause a great disaster. Sikong Luyun looked at Sikong Tianding and nodded. Tianding will be careful. I won't let anything happen to the clan. Sikong Tianding bowed. In the past, our Sikong clan wasn't afraid of anyone. Whoever dared to challenge us, we dared to fight back. However, now that a sage has appeared, any force without a sage will be annihilated if they are not careful. Sikong Luyun sighed. Granduncle, don't you have a chance? Sikong Tianyu asked. Chance? This isn't a matter of chance. It's fate. People who don't have fate will never be able to reach that level. Origin stones and saint crystals are too rare. Those who don't have great luck can't get them. Sikong Luyun shook his head. Look at HS version of chapter MS on, then how did Jin Huang and Ji Yu Haitian get in? It is said that Lord Golden Phoenix has just entered the Saint Realm, Sikong Tianyu said. Venerable Futian is a very old venerable, but he is only a little stronger than ordinary venerables. However, Lord Golden Phoenix is different. She is invincible in the venerable realm. Once she enters the Saint Realm, her combat strength will also increase. They are all people who are favored by the heavenly Tao. Others can't compare to them. Alright, you should worry more about the family's affairs, Tianding. Also, explain to Yunwu Mountain what our Sikong family did some time ago. Wouldn't that hurt old Mountain Master Yang's feelings? Sikong Luyun said. Tianding will take care of it. Sikong Tianding nodded. Then go. Sikong Luyun waved his hand at the two of them. Third brother, what do we do next? Sikong Tianyu asked Sikong Tianding after leaving Sikong Liuyun's seclusion room. Nothing much. Later, you and your sister-in-law Yang Yu will make a trip to Mount Yunwu. After that, our clan will develop in a low-key manner and deal with the upcoming storm, Sikong Tianding said. What about Chu Yu? Sikong Tianyu asked. We don't need to deal with her. Chu Yu is a member of Tinji Tower. Her safety is naturally not a problem. If we don't need to worry about her safety, what else do we need to deal with? Let nature take its course. As for that young man, if you are satisfied, then there is no problem. The most important thing is that Chu Yu thinks highly of him. As her father, I know how high Chu Yu's standards are. Love go little say Wang, Chu Sikong Tianding said. That's true. A father knows his daughter best. Alright, I will go and see sister-in-law now. Sikong Tianyu nodded. After Sikong Tianding returned to his study, he wrote a letter and asked someone to send it out. Although he didn't have to deal with Sikong Chuyu's matter, he still missed his daughter. Therefore, he wrote a letter of inquiry and also explained his family's attitude. When he thought of his daughter being forced to run away from home, Sikong Tianding was filled with anger. If it wasn't for the sake of the clan's interests, he would have already killed Sikong Tianjing and Sikong Tianhua. His daughter was the treasure in his heart that he wanted to protect. He could not accept hurting Sikong Chuyu. Night Sorrow used one night to condense his true chi halo. His true chi cultivation base had advanced to the 6th level of the Void Inquiry stage. Then, while stabilizing his cultivation base, Night Sorrow continued to cultivate the myriad Tao scripture and the power of his soul. As for his innate bloodline power, Night Sorrow also improved it very quickly. However, there was still some time before he could activate the 5th innate bloodline power because it was too difficult to activate the 5th innate bloodline power. After stabilizing his cultivation base for a few days, Night Sorrow walked out of the secret cultivation room. At this moment, Yang Lei, Sikong Chuyu, and Ling Long were drinking tea and chatting. Not bad. 6th level of the Void Inquiry stage. Your cultivation speed is unimaginable to others. Take our Medicine Valley for example. Those elders who were at the 5th level of the Void Inquiry stage in the past needed a long time to increase their cultivation base by 1 level. Yang Lei said with a sigh. It's not bad. It's probably because I have more resources. Night Sorrow sat down and poured himself a cup of tea. There are many people who have more resources, but I have never seen anyone who can cultivate so quickly. Ling Long said. It's still not as fast as senior sister Ling Long, Night Sorrow said after taking a sip of tea. You have only cultivated for a few years. The time I have spent cultivating is several times longer than yours. Junior brother Night, how old are you exactly today? Ling Long asked. She was more curious about this. 9th senior sister, I have been in the sect for 4 years, right? I'm already 20 years old. Night Sorrow thought for a while and said. Yes. According to the time, you will have been in the sect for 4 years in another 2 months. Time really flies. The 13th junior brother who was still very inexperienced at that time is already in his 20s now. Moreover, your name has spread far and wide. Yang Lei said. She felt a little emotional because too many things had happened in the past 4 years. The fate of the Medicine Valley had changed. Her own fate had changed. All of this was inseparable from Night Sorrow. 20 years old. Junior brother Night, you are good enough. After confirming Night Sorrow's age, Ling Long's heart also trembled for a moment because the achievements she made when she was 20 years old were far inferior to Night Sorrow's. After that, Night Sorrow communicated with the members of the Tianji Tower team and gave all the dark crystals to Qin Zhen. Brother 13, these are too precious. Seeing Night Sorrow take out a small pile of dark crystals, Qin Zhen did not know what to say. We are brothers. There is no need to say anything else. Just take them. Night Sorrow patted Qin Zhen's shoulder and said. Looking at Night Sorrow, Qin Zhen nodded and put away the dark crystals. After communicating with his brothers for a while, Night Sorrow waved the training field and began to cultivate his spear techniques. This guy is really crazy. I can't stand it. Ling Long muttered and also went to cultivate. Chapter 520. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/small? It provides you with wonderful novels to read. Who sent it? Sikong Chuyu asked. It was sent by someone from Tianji Tower. I don't know the details. Ning Qingfeng said. Then it's nothing. I'll have to trouble Big Brother Ning. Sikong Chuyu said. Although Ning Qingfeng considered himself a servant, in Qingxin Villa, no one treated him as a servant. They all treated him as an elder brother. After opening the letter, Sikong Chuyu was stunned because she recognized that it was her father's handwritten letter. After looking at the signature and confirming that it was her father's letter, Sikong Chuyu began to read it carefully. After reading it, Sikong Chuyu smiled. 9th senior sister, the matter between me and Night Sorrow is resolved. This is my father's letter. He said that no one in the family objected, including the old ancestor. That's great. Night Sorrow heard the conversation between the two and immediately stopped cultivating. Well, the problem has been solved. Sikong Chuyu said excitedly. Chuyu, I'm sorry. This matter was due to Aunt Fei's face. I couldn't do it myself. Night Sorrow said. XC, original chapter C section BZ equals T on /NI, that's not right. Strength is also divided into hard strength and soft strength. Hard strength is how much battle power you have, and soft strength is how much influence you can have. How many people with high battle power can you influence? Yang Lei said. The matter is resolved. Let's find a time to go to the Sikong family to propose marriage. Night Sorrow said. If there are no obstacles, then we can go at any time. Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. She was very happy to know that her family did not object. Night Sorrow stopped cultivating his spear art and sat down to drink tea and chat with the two women. The Sikong family opposed him and Sikong Chuyu being together, which made him feel a lot of pressure. Now that it was resolved, he felt a lot more relaxed. While Night Sorrow was drinking tea with the two women, the masked Taishu Yen appeared, followed by Exquisite. Night Sorrow, is Lord Wu Kei here? Taishu Yen looked at Night Sorrow and asked. She should be here. Night Sorrow knew that Taishu Yen must have come for something, so he got up and walked towards the viewing tower where Wu Lingfei was. Night Sorrow had just taken a few steps when the veiled Wu Lingfei appeared. Junior Martial Sister Taishu, you're here. Is something the matter? Yes, I've come to ask for Senior Apprentice Sister's help. Your Junior Apprentice Sister, have lost, Taishu Yen said. What happened? Are you injured? Wu Lingfei asked as she looked at Taishu Yan's arm. My arm was hit, and I need to rest, Taishu Yen said with a bitter smile. It's very difficult for cultivators below the saint stage to hurt you, right? Wu Lingfei frowned and asked. He's not a saint, but a venerable. But he's very strong, and I'm not his match. He didn't kill me, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to escape unscathed, Taishu Yen said. He didn't kill you, which means he left some leeway. What caused the conflict? Wu Lingfei asked. Senior Apprentice Sister Wu should know that the Realms Sea at the border of the North Sea region and the Unbounded Desolation is special. There are no rules to attack. We call it the Inner Sea. He seized the Sea Heart Island where I used to cultivate, Taishu Yen explained the cause and effect. His style is very overbearing, but there's still a depth to it. Let's heal first. Later, Senior Apprentice Sister will go and take a look. Wu Lingfei pulled Taishu Yen to the viewing tower to heal her. The situation is very serious. Night Sorrow said. He knew that Tianji Tower's Lord Lin Yuandao and Vice Lord Taishu Yen were both peak venerables. Being able to defeat Taishu Yen meant that they were very strong. It's very serious. He injured Tianji Tower's Vice Lord. This is a big problem. Sikong Chuyu nodded and said. Let's wait and see what Aunt Fei has to say. It seems that we'll have a chance to go to the North Sea domain, Night Sorrow said. On the third day, Wu Lingfei and Taishu Yen came out of the viewing tower. Lord Wu, this guy is too arrogant. We Tianji Tower must kill him, Ling Long said. That's not the right way of thinking. Our Celestial Terminus Tower's deputy chief has suffered a loss, but we have to be reasonable. Junior Martial Sister Taishu, all the treasured lands in the world are ownerless. The Sea Heart Island in the Northern Sea Domain's Inner Sea does not necessarily belong to Junior Martial Sister. Whoever has the ability to fight for it is not wrong. I understand. I just can't accept it, Taishu Yen said. Don't be upset. Your senior sister is just trying to reason with you. Feng Shui treasures belong to those who are virtuous. Strength is a display of virtue. If he has the strength to take it, then we can take it back, Wu Lingfei said. I thought Senior Apprentice Sister didn't care about me. That Sea Heart Island is very important to you. We can't lose it, Taishu Yen said. But since he showed mercy, we have to remember. Senior Apprentice Sister won't kill for no reason, Wu Lingfei said to Taishu Yen. Junior Apprentice Sister understands. Taishu Yen nodded. Okay, let's go, Wu Lingfei said. Aunt Fei, I'll go too. Night Sorrow expressed his intention to go. Okay, let's go together, Wu Lingfei said. Senior Apprentice Sister, it's not appropriate to take him. It's too dangerous, Taishu Yen said. She was worried that the opponent was too strong and could threaten Night Sorrow's safety. It's okay. Night Sorrow has the pagoda of time and space to protect him. As long as I don't lose, the opponent can't hurt Knight's Sorrow, Wu Lingfei said confidently. Hearing Wu Lingfei's words, Linglong opened her mouth but didn't say anything. She also wanted to go, but she couldn't guarantee her own safety, so she couldn't say anything. After tidying up, Knight's Sorrow said goodbye to Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu, and then followed Wu Lingfei and Tai Shu Yen to the teleportation array. Junior apprentice Sister Tai Shu, what is the opponent's attribute? Does he have any trump cards? Wu Lingfei asked as they moved forward. Extreme attribute. It's the Black Demon Lightning attribute. His attacks are very domineering. He's going for the Great Desolate Pool. I don't know what he's planning, Tai Shu Yen said. He must have his own plans. I don't know where this expert came from, Wu Lingfei said. Aunt Fei, Martial Aunt Tai Shu, what is the Great Desolate Pool? Knight's Sorrow asked. It's a miraculous place that makes people helpless. You can say it's a treasure. The realm sea between the Northern Sea domain and the realm of unbounded desolation is special. It's the border between the realm sea and the desolate sea. The desolate sea is a forbidden zone for all life. Unless you can withstand the power of the desolate sea, you'll meet a miserable end, Wu Lingfei said. What kind of miserable end? Knight's Sorrow asked curiously. Have you heard of the phrase, until the end of time? The desolate sea contains the power of time. The limit of the power of desolation is 1,000 years in an instant. How long do cultivators live? What do you think will happen if they're sucked in by the power of time? Their hair will turn white, their life force will fade, and they'll become a pile of bones, Wu Lingfei said. Chapter 521. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Among the 4 advanced attributes, the life attribute and the death attribute are the ones that are more helpful to one's body, because these 2 attributes are the elaboration of life. However, in terms of combat power, they are not as good as the space force and the time force. The 4 attributes each have their own strengths, and the time force is the closest to the supreme attribute. Love go little say, Chu Wu Lingfei explained to Knight's Sorrow. Wu Lingfei was very patient with Knight's Sorrow. Everyone knows that the Great Desolate Pool is very precious, but no one can use it. If one can withstand the invasion of the power of desolates, then one can absorb the power of desolates to strengthen one's body. However, this is almost impossible, Tai Shu Yen said. If there is a chance, I want to try, Knight's Sorrow said. Knight's Sorrow, don't joke around. You are our Tianji Tower's Heaven's Fate envoy. There are some risks that you can't take. Tai Shu Yen turned to look at Knight's Sorrow and said. Wu Lingfei also looked at Knight's Sorrow, but didn't say anything. This was mainly because she had her own considerations. When Knight's Sorrow's cultivation was very low, he had refined her mysterious jade spirit chi. At that time, he didn't have any attribute power. Now that Knight's Sorrow had the Void Fate Pearl and the Spacetime Treasure Pagoda, he could give it a try. Once he refined the power of desolates, it would greatly increase the strength of his body. This was Wu Lingfei's idea, but she didn't say it. It wasn't that she didn't trust Tai Shu Yen, but she felt that the less people who knew about Knight's Sorrow's secret, the safer it would be. Eastern Xian region and North Sea region were allies, and Tianji Tower was coordinating between them. They set up a transmission array in some empty areas, so the 3 of them were directly transmitted to the North Sea region's coastal city, North Star City. Senior Sister Wu, should we go now or take a rest? Tai Shu Yen asked after leaving the transmission array in North Star City. It's nothing. We'll go and take a look first. Once we solve the matter, you'll feel more at ease, Wu Lingfei said. Then, the 3 of them flew towards their destination, Sea Heart Island. The Northern Sea Domain's realm sea was connected to the Desolate Sea. Because of the conflict between the power of laws, the realm sea of the Northern Sea Domain would cancel each other out. Senior Sister Wu, be careful. That guy is very strong. If you can snatch it back, then snatch it back. If you can't snatch it back, then it doesn't matter. Tai Shu Yen said somewhat worriedly. You have too little confidence in me. I dared to face any challenge before I entered the Saint Realm. Now that I've entered the Saint Realm, do you think I'm afraid? Wu Lingfei said. 2 hours later, the three of them arrived at the Sea Heart Island at the border between the North Sea region's boundary sea and the Desolate Sea. Just as the three of them landed on Sea Heart Island, a middle-aged man appeared in front of them. The man wore a black robe with a golden dragon inlaid on it. His figure was straight, and he had a very unique mustache. His eyes emitted a cold light. Golden Phoenix? The black-clothed man saw Wu Lingfei and immediately shouted in surprise. I was wondering who it was. What are you thinking? Don't you know that she's a member of my Tianji Tower? Wu Lingfei looked at the black-clothed man and asked directly. How would this king know? She didn't say anything. The black-clothed man glanced at Tai Shu Yan and said. Junior sister Tai Shu, you didn't tell him your identity? Wu Lingfei looked at Tai Shu Yan and asked. He came and said that the territory must be given to him. Then, a fight broke out. Tai Shu Yan said. Your Yun dynasty has such a big territory. Why are you extending your claws to the Northern Sea domain? Wu Lingfei looked at the black-clothed man and said. Golden Phoenix, you don't know that the Tai Qing domain is now in a mess. Our family doesn't want to participate. This king promised to find a good territory for my little grandson as a gift. So, he came here. He saw that this place was good and wanted to take it. Who knew that he was an acquaintance of yours? The black-clothed man said. Well, don't count on this place. How about a fight? Wu Lingfei said. Don't count on it, don't count on it. Wouldn't it be a joke to fight an old friend? Don't tell me that this king can't get a piece of territory. The black-clothed man said. That's enough. Junior sister Tai Shu, this matter is over. It can be said that no discord leads to friendship. Wu Lingfei said to Tai Shu Yan. This King Yun Tianlong offended you. Please forgive him. Golden Phoenix, I haven't seen you for many years. You finally took this step. Congratulations. In addition, this king found that nothing good came from seeing you. Some good things were ruined by you. Let's go. The black-clothed man Yun Tianlong's body flashed and left the Sea Heart Island. Senior sister, who is this person? There is such an expert in the 9 domains and 18 states? Tai Shu Yan said with some surprise. Yun Tianlong, the monarch of the Yun dynasty in the Taiqing domain, is also an invincible venerable. Back then, he was only slightly suppressed by Yi Tian, the Moon Emperor of the Night Moon dynasty. Wu Lingfei revealed the man's identity. Yun dynasty? That's an old power that has been passed down for countless years. This guy is really strong. Tai Shu Yan had not been defeated for many years. Now that she was defeated, she was still very shocked. Currently, the Tai Qing domain is in chaos. No one has attacked the Yun dynasty. Why? Because if you don't defeat someone like Yun Tianlong, you will never be able to defeat the Yun dynasty. Wu Lingfei said. Indeed, the major powers of the Tai Qing domain attacked the Night Moon dynasty because the Moon Emperor Yi Tian's whereabouts are unknown. They are also afraid of Yi Linghuan's rise. Tai Shu Yan said. Night Sorrow, the Yun dynasty and the Night Moon dynasty are on good terms. Therefore, after the Night Moon dynasty was defeated, the other powers are hostile to the Yun dynasty. Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow took a deep breath. The Night Moon dynasty did not fall. It just experienced a wave. Wu Lingfei did not say anything. She just patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. She knew Night Sorrow's ambition. Let's go. Let's go to my courtyard to rest. Senior sister Wu, you didn't need to fight. You solved the problem directly. Comparisons are odious. Tai Shu Yan said. You didn't lose to him unjustly. He used to be one of the 3 giants of the Tai Qing domain. You must know that the Tai Qing domain used to be able to look down on the other domains. When the Tai Ching domain was at its peak, even the Qing Tian domain could not compare to it. Senior sister, after listening to your conversation with Night Sorrow, could it be that Night Sorrow is from the Night Moon dynasty? Tai Shu Yan looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Yes, let's not talk about this. Junior sister, the environment of this Sea Heart Island is not bad. Wu Lingfei said. The main thing is that the laws here are chaotic. You can more or less comprehend some things. Tai Shu Yan said. Night Sorrow's mind was filled with the matters of the Tai Ching domain. He did not expect to see the ruler of the Tai Ching domain's dynasty here. Night Sorrow, don't worry. You are still young. 10 years, 20 years, or even 100 years is nothing to you. 100 years is just a small ripple in history. Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. She knew that Night Sorrow's emotions were fluctuating. Genuine plus S first 4 shots, I understand. I've made Aunt Fei worried. Night Sorrow nodded. Chapter 522. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/small? It provides you with wonderful novels to read. The three of them came to the center of the Sea Heart Island. In front of them was a lake, and in the middle of the lake was a small island. The center of the small island is where the Great Desolate Pond is located. The energy there is very strong, but the energy is too terrifying. It is fatal to any life form. There is also a special attribute power inside. I looked it up in the ancient books. It is called the power of desolation, also known as the power of time. It belongs to the extreme of the time attribute. Then the Great Desolate Pond does not mean much to junior sister. Wu Lingfei said. Yes, its existence only makes the nearby energy more concentrated. It has no other use. Tai Shu Yan said. Then I will try. Wu Lingfei propped up a protective shield and flew towards the Great Desolate Pond. Night Sorrow and Tai Shu Yan watched from the side to see what Wu Lingfei's situation was like. As Wu Lingfei arrived above the Great Desolate Pond, the protective shield on her body started to operate crazily. The energy loss is too fast. This is the power of time. If you cannot resist the power of time, you will not be able to absorb the power of desolation for cultivation. Tai Shu Yan said. After a moment, Wu Lingfei returned to the side of the two. It is indeed very terrifying. The change in the flow of time caused the energy of my protective shield to be consumed rapidly. In just a moment, 30% of its energy was consumed. The time attribute is a high-level attribute. It is second only to the sovereign attribute. Its power has already surpassed the other 3 high-level attributes. Tai Shu Yan said. Let's go and drink a pot of tea. I also need to recover. Wu Lingfei said. Then Tai Shu Yan arranged for Night Sorrow and Wu Lingfei to stay in the other courtyard on the island. Wu Lingfei went to recover. She had consumed a lot of energy just now. In addition, Tai Shu Yan also needed to recover from her injuries. No one cared about Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, who was bored, once again went to the periphery of the Great Desolate Pond. After standing for a while, Night Sorrow decided to try and see if his void attribute could withstand the impact of the power of time. Even if the life attribute could not withstand it, it did not mean that the void attribute could not. Night Sorrow's body flashed as he activated his protective shield and rushed towards the Great Desolate Pond. When he arrived above the Great Desolate Pool, Night Sorrow felt that his protective energy shield was being attacked by a strange power. However, the nothingness attribute protective energy shield bounced this strange power away and did not cause any damage. Sensing that there was no danger, Night Sorrow landed beside the Great Desolate Pool and observed it. The Great Desolate Pond had a radius of about 5 feet. In the middle of the pond was a rolling yellow liquid with spots. Surrounding the liquid was a yellow energy halo. Night Sorrow opened up a crack in his chi shield. He drew a yellow halo of energy into his chi shield and quickly sealed it. After this energy entered the protective barrier, it directly entered Night Sorrow's body. After entering Night Sorrow's body, this energy began to corrode Night Sorrow's flesh. Night Sorrow could feel his flesh and tendons aging. This happened in an instant. Night Sorrow hurriedly urged the myriad Tao treasured book's energy to refine this power of desolates. After being enveloped by Night Sorrow's energy, this power of desolates began to churn. It began to wash away Night Sorrow's myriad Tao treasured book's energy. However, there was no effect. This made Night Sorrow feel more at ease. He knew that his true chi was of the void attribute. The myriad Tao treasured book did not have any attribute. However, after being nourished by the void attribute for a long time, its resistance was very strong. Following which, Night Sorrow began to refine this power of desolates. After an hour, Night Sorrow's refinement did not make any progress. Night Sorrow scolded himself in his heart. He scolded himself for being stupid. How could he forget how to refine the mysterious jade chi? If he could not refine it, could it be that he could not assimilate it? Wasn't assimilation a way to refine it? Night Sorrow changed his approach. He poured the myriad Tao treasured book's energy into this power of desolates, and began the process of assimilation. Baidu search AI intersection go intersection shao intersection shua www.ai2x. Com slowly, this power of desolates was assimilated by Night Sorrow. It became an energy that Night Sorrow could control. Night Sorrow controlled this energy to circulate in his body. While Night Sorrow was studying this power of desolates, Wu Lingfei had recovered. Tai Shu Yen also came out of the room. The two of them came to the tea table in the middle of the courtyard. Senior apprentice sister, you've recovered. Your life attribute is really powerful. You've used up a third of your energy, yet you've recovered so quickly. Where's Yishang? While brewing tea, Tai Shu Yen looked towards Yishang's room. At this time, Wu Lingfei's body flashed and came to the periphery of the lake in the heart of the island. Standing outside the lake, she could clearly see Night Sorrow's figure sitting cross-legged. This bastard. He is too daring. After Tai Shu Yen finished speaking, she got up and rushed towards the island. She was very worried that Night Sorrow would consume his life attribute. That would be irreversible. Wu Lingfei's body flashed and stopped her, bringing her back to the edge of the lake. He is very stable now. Let's take a look first. Night Sorrow felt that there was no problem with this power of desolates. He opened a crack in his protective chi cover and once again pulled the power of desolates into his protective chi cover. Then, he began to assimilate it. Senior Sister Wu, what is his situation? Why is he not afraid of the power of desolates? Tai Shu Yen said with some astonishment. Let's go back and talk. Wu Lingfei brought Tai Shu Yen back to the courtyard. Only +1 positive, version, all, he be, are stolen, c, version s%, Senior Sister Wu, how can he resist the power of desolates? Tai Shu Yen asked anxiously. He has many attributes on his body. Ice attribute, space attribute, and mainly the sovereign attribute. Although the power of desolates is overbearing, it is still incomparable to the sovereign attribute. Let's wait and see. If he can refine it, then this guy will have a great harvest. Wu Lingfei said. After Night Sorrow refined the 3 strands of power of desolates, he stood up and flew across the lake, returning to the courtyard. How was it? Did you gain anything? Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Night Sorrow turned his head to look at Tai Shu Yen. He could tell Wu Lingfei anything, but Tai Shu Yen couldn't. Night Sorrow, Aunt Fei, and your martial uncle have known each other for a long time. Although we don't talk much, we are not outsiders. It's nothing. Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow nodded. Then, with a flick of his right index finger, a yellow power of desolates appeared and wrapped around Night Sorrow's finger. The power of desolates? You have mastered the power of desolates? Even Wu Lingfei, who knew Night Sorrow very well, was very surprised. There were too many people who had designs on the power of desolates. Among them, there was no lack of talented cultivators with unfathomable cultivation. However, no one could get what they wanted. Instead, there were many people who had been cheated by the power of desolates. Not to mention others, Tai Shu Yan had tried it, and Wu Lingfei had also tried it today. They were all helpless against the power of desolates. But now, the power of desolates was wrapped around Night Sorrow's finger. I can't say that I have mastered it. I have just refined a few strands. Night Sorrow said. Hurry up and try it. Let's see how powerful this power of desolates is. Tai Shu Yan said excitedly. Chapter 523. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. As Wu Lingfei's arms swept across, the originally emerald green branches turned yellow in an instant. Love go little say W, Chu, it really is the power of desolates. Night Sorrow, is there any problem in your body? Are there any changes to your attributes? If there are any changes, then the losses outweigh the gains. Wu Lingfei asked with some concern. The power of desolates contained the power of time. It was very overbearing, but it was still incomparable to the nihility attribute. Night Sorrow did not show the overbearing nature of the nihility attribute, but that was because he did not notice it. Not to mention other things, being able to suppress other attributes was an incredible means. There is no problem. I did not use true qi. I used the energy in my body to refine it. The attribute of true qi has not changed. Night Sorrow flicked his finger and the power of desolates returned to his body. That's good. Anyway, we have nothing to do. Let's stay here for a while and see if you can refine it. Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow, Martial Uncle has an ancient book here. It is the handwritten letter of the ancient body refiner, Huang Wudao. He is also the only known cultivator who can refine the power of desolates for his own use. Tai Shu Yan took out an ancient book and handed it to Night Sorrow. Huang Wudao. The matter of the black tortoise crystal was also passed down from Huang Wudao's handwritten letter. He was the most accomplished body refiner, and had cultivated the heavenly desolate sword body, which was famous throughout the 9 regions. Love go little say W, Chu, Wu Lingfei said. Thank you, Uncle Master. Yi Shang took the ancient book and flipped it open to take a look. After reading it, Night Sorrow shook his head. He was not interested in the cultivation method of the heavenly desolate sword body. This method was very crude. It was just absorbing energy to strengthen the body. It was no different from true qi. Night Sorrow returned the ancient book to Tai Shu Yan. Thank you, Martial Uncle. This ancient book is not suitable for me. I not only cultivate the strength of the body, but also the energy in the body. It does not conflict with true qi. He is using qi to refine the body. It's not suitable. Then what are you going to do? Tai Shu Yan looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Don't worry. I have my own way. I have the energy in my body. I can use the energy in my body to refine the power of desolates. It's not that troublesome, Night Sorrow said. For the next 2 days, Night Sorrow began refining the power of desolates in the Great Desolate Pool. Life did not go according to one's wishes. Night Sorrow spent 2 days refining the power of desolates. After refining more than 10 wisps of power of desolates, the Great Desolate Pool sank into the ground and disappeared. I only have a strong wisp of power of desolates in my body and the Great Desolate's pool has disappeared. What kind of situation is this? Night Sorrow said gloomily. The power of desolates is very common in the desolate sea of the unbounded desolation realm, but it is all modeled. Only the power of desolates in the Great Desolation Pool is pure. It will be difficult to find power of desolates like the Great Desolation Pool in the future. Tai Shu Yan also felt very regretful. Let's wait for our chance. Wu Lingfei said. She was also very helpless in this matter. However, no one could do anything about the disappearance of the Great Desolate Pool. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood that some things could not be forced. He currently did not have such a chance. However, he had already gained a lot from this trip to the North Sea. After all, he now had a wisp of pure power of desolates in his body. Actually, this is a seed. As long as the seed exists, there will be a day when it will sprout. Wu Lingfei nodded to Night Sorrow. Afterwards, the three of them once again searched the Sea Heart Island. However, they did not find any trace of the Great Desolate Pool. Junior Marshal's sister Tai Shu, if there is nothing else, we will return. After searching for a while without any results, Wu Lingfei planned to leave. All right. When I have time, I will go to the Eastern Profound Domain to see Senior Marshal's sister. Tai Shu Yan knew that Wu Lingfei had many things to do and did not force her to stay. Marshal Aunt, take care. Night Sorrow bowed to Tai Shu Yan. After leaving the Sea Heart Island, Wu Lingfei took Night Sorrow and flew towards the unbounded desolation. The power of desolates can only be found in the desolate sea of the unbounded desolation. Let's go to the desolate sea and see if it can help you, Wu Lingfei said. Many thanks, Aunt Fei. Night Sorrow was very moved. Wu Lingfei was doing this for him. It took the two of them 5 days to reach the desolate sea. When they reached the periphery of the desolate sea, Wu Lingfei was unable to approach it. The power of the desolate sea had a great effect on her. Night Sorrow could withstand it. After flying for a while, Night Sorrow activated the Myriad Dao treasure tome, which contained the power of desolates, to protect himself. Then, he removed the void quintessential energy's protective barrier. The energy of the desolate sea began to invade Night Sorrow's body. However, with the Myriad Daos tome's energy protecting him, Night Sorrow had no problems. Night Sorrow tried to absorb the power of desolates. However, he found that it was impossible. The power of desolates was too mottled and mixed with too many other energies. It was impossible to absorb. After flying around for a while, Night Sorrow returned to Wu Lingfei's side. I can't. There is power of desolates here, but it's too mottled and mixed with too many other energies. I can't absorb it, Night Sorrow said. Although the power of desolates is very thin, it's very powerful. Look at your clothes. It's weathered. This is a characteristic of the power of desolates' time power, Wu Lingfei said, pointing at Night Sorrow's clothes. At this moment, Night Sorrow's white robes had turned light yellow, as if they were old clothes from many years ago. Night Sorrow reached out to grab them, and they flew away. They were already rotten. If I can't absorb it, then I can't absorb it. This is already a good harvest, Night Sorrow said. Not bad. Your body is no longer affected by the power of time. In other words, time has little effect on your life. This is already very powerful, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. Afterward, Wu Lingfei flew back to North Star City with Night Sorrow and took a teleportation array to Eastern Profound Domain's Eastern Profound City. Unspecified currency, Zenk version 7, by the way, Anifei will help you find the Desolate Stone. If there is one, it can help you continue to improve your power of desolates, Wu Lingfei said as she walked out of the teleportation array with Night Sorrow. It's not that easy. Last time, I told Protector Yin Shui that I wanted to exchange for a space crystal, but there was no news, Night Sorrow said. Impossible. It's possible that there isn't a desolate stone, but it's impossible that there isn't a space crystal. She probably forgot about it, Wu Lingfei said. Maybe. Night Sorrow nodded. After the two arrived at Tranquil Heart Courtyard, Wu Lingfei returned to the viewing tower. While Night Sorrow was chatting with Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu, Exquisite also ran over. She was more interested in Night Sorrow's trip. Yishang didn't like to talk about random things, but Exquisite liked to ask questions. Somewhat helpless, Night Sorrow casually said a few words and then went to the secret cultivation room to cultivate. What's wrong? Exquisite looked at Night Sorrow's back and frowned. She felt that Night Sorrow was a little impatient. He must have wanted to drink tea in peace. Everyone kept asking him and he couldn't calm down, so he went to cultivate, Yang Lei said straightforwardly. She knew Night Sorrow very well. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I will be more careful in the future, Exquisite said apologetically. Everyone should understand each other. This way, we can get along better, Sikong Chuyu said. Chapter 524. Genius 1 second remember love go/little. We provide you with interesting novels to read. Actually, since you're the one who explained all this, it means that you're a reasonable person. We can get to know each other better, Yang Lei said. Because of Ling Long's words, her impression of her had changed. I'm from the Dark Mountain tribe. Maybe it's because I'm used to it. Ling Long smiled at the two girls and left the backyard. You're straightforward. Not bad, Sikong Chuyu said. Night Sorrow cultivated until night time before he came out to have dinner with everyone. Night Sorrow, you left like that at noon. It was a little embarrassing, Yang Lei said. I can't report everything, right? Night Sorrow put down the bowl of soup and wiped his mouth. Sikong Chuyu smiled and told him about Ling Long's situation. The Dark Mountain tribe is a special tribe. They have some special habits and are straightforward. You can't be like that anymore, Yang Lei said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded and took the tea from Sikong Chuyu. This is quite a coincidence. Aunt Fei went and solved the problem without doing anything. One of the three leaders of the Tai Ching region is very powerful, Sikong Chuyu said. Of course the invincible venerables are powerful. Otherwise, Deputy Palace Master Tai Shu wouldn't have been defeated. Love go little say, Chiang Lei said. Now that the problem is solved, we can cultivate in peace, Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. I hope it can be quiet. It's really tiring to go back and forth all this time. Night Sorrow let out a sigh. Indeed. In the past few years since you entered the sect, first, there was the Medicine Valley incident, then there was the invasion of the dark creatures. You didn't let anyone rest. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow with some heartache. In fact, Night Sorrow didn't rest at all. Night Sorrow practiced his spear art for a while before the three of them went to rest. Of course, it wasn't a simple rest. The three of them needed to communicate, and Night Sorrow wasn't a saint. The harmony cultivation method wasn't of much help to Night Sorrow, but because Night Sorrow's body was filled with blood qi and yang qi, it was of great help to the two women. The days that followed were really quiet. At night, Night Sorrow cultivated his foundation. During the day, he cultivated his spear art and the realm of one with the spear. Sometimes, he would accompany Sky Feather and Silver Fox. Other times, he would watch the other brothers cultivate. After a day of cultivation, Night Sorrow pondered for a moment before going to Tianji Tower. He wanted to ask about the space crystal and if there were any desolate stones. Night Sorrow needed both of these things. Night Sorrow didn't need the space crystal now, but he would need it in the future. Currently, Night Sorrow's bloodline talent was at the foundation stage. If you want to enter the Saint Realm, you need to understand the power of rules first and then break through in one fell swoop. In addition, Master K may want to touch the ultimate attribute. That way, his combat power will be different after advancing. Master K has a chance to advance to the Black Mysterious Water ultimate attribute, Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood why Tianji Tower hadn't mentioned this for the time being. It was to be used at a critical time. Night Sorrow, how's your cultivation going recently? Are there any difficulties? Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. No, it's just that my soul power is increasing slowly, Night Sorrow said. Of course. If your soul power can be cultivated quickly, venerables will be everywhere. How amazing would that be? Wu Lingfei said with a smile. Then everything else is going well, Night Sorrow said. It's a chaotic world now. Aunt Fei doesn't think it will stop. We don't know when a war will break out. If you improve your strength, you will have more ability to protect yourself, Wu Lingfei said. I will work hard. Night Sorrow nodded. It's the same for all of you. If you have any doubts about your cultivation, you can ask me, Wu Lingfei said to the other girls. The girls nodded. They knew that this was a rare opportunity. A big shot like Wu Lingfei usually cultivated and rarely commanded others to cultivate. Then, everyone began to cultivate nervously, seizing the opportunity to improve their cultivation. Night Sorrow's Shin-Chi cultivation increased slowly, but the myriad Tao treasured tome increased very quickly. When Night Sorrow broke through to level 3 path-seeking realm, someone from Tianji Tower came. It was not just one of them, but Lin Yuandao and Hua Haining. This made Night Sorrow very surprised. At the same time, Wu Lingfei came out to receive them. Chapter 525. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by small? I'll provide you with wonderful novels to read. F% BD forever you $free Q fee, C, small square root N. If it's a normal distribution of resources, of course there's no need for the law enforcement elder to come. Isn't this a little big? Lin Yuandao said with a smile. Okay. Then this king and deputy tower master Wu will be the witnesses, Hua Haining said as he sat down. Wu Lingfei also nodded. She knew that Night Sorrow wanted to exchange for top-grade resources, which had to be recorded in Tianji Tower, so Lin Yuandao brought Hua Haining along. There are no outsiders here, except for your fiancé, and Ling Long. Ling Long is also a celestial emissary, so she's not an outsider. Let's get straight to the point. This king will borrow your water origin stone for 3 months. This king will personally give you 2 space crystals, 2 water crystals, and 2 thunder crystals. In addition, Tianji Tower will give you 2 of each. What do you think? Lin Yuandao said. I don't have any objections. Does Lord Tower Master want to use it now? Night Sorrow nodded. Yes, I'll use it soon. Lin Yuandao nodded. At this time, Sikong Chuyu took out the jade box containing the water origin stone and handed it to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow handed it to Lin Yuandao. Lin Yuandao and Hua Haining took out the resources Lin Yuandao mentioned at the same time and placed them on the table. Love goes small say W, Chu Anti-Fei. Night Sorrow looked at Wu Lingfei. Neither Lord Tower Master nor Tianji Tower will take advantage of you. Take it. Wu Lingfei nodded. Night Sorrow waved his arm and put the resources on the table into his storage ring. You are a celestial emissary of Tianji Tower. Normally, you don't need to exchange the resources you use. These 3 space crystals are a gift from Tianji Tower. Now, let's talk about the exchange of resources between you and Tianji Tower. Lin Yuandao nodded to Hua Haining. Hua Haining placed the 3 space crystals on the table. This time, Hua Haining had brought resources with him. Night Sorrow didn't hesitate and directly put away the 3 space crystals. In the Celestial Terminus Tower, there are all the resources you mentioned, except for the Desolate Stone. However, in order to give future generations a chance, we can't exchange them without limit. We can only take out 5 pieces of each resource, Hua Haining said. Okay, I have top-grade crystals here. How much do you want? Night Sorrow asked. Don't you have soul crystals and life essence elixir? Lin Yuandao asked in surprise. Wu Lingfei smiled and said, who would be willing to use spirit stones and life essence fluid? Junior sister Wu, you know that our Tianji Tower needs some rare treasures in reserve. That way, when our core members are injured or need to break through, they will be very effective, Lin Yuandao said. Night Sorrow, let's do as Lord K says. Wu Lingfei nodded to Yishang. Yes, it's to give those who come after us some opportunities. In the end, Night Sorrow took out 10 soul crystals and half a bottle of life essence to complete the exchange. I'm from Tianji Tower, so I have to do something for Tianji Tower. This bottle of soul fluid of life and 2 bottles of void pills is my contribution to Tianji Tower. Night Sorrow took out another bottle of soul fluid of life and 2 bottles of void pills and gave them to Hua Haining. What a shame. I don't even have a place to put my face, Hua Haining said with a wry smile. It is indeed embarrassing. We even came here to make a deal with them. What is this? Lin Yuandao was also a little embarrassed. They didn't expect Night Sorrow to be so generous. The resources that Night Sorrow had contributed were already extremely valuable. It's nothing. This is what I should do. Baidu search love go xiao shua www.aichuxs.com, Night Sorrow said. Junior Sister Wu, was it you who taught Night Sorrow this move? Lin Yuandao asked Wu Lingfei. That's not true. Night Sorrow has always been magnanimous. Senior brother Lin, Elder Hua, you guys have to treat Night Sorrow well in the future, said Wu Lingfei. Alright, I will reflect on my actions this time. Hua Haining cupped his fists towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow bowed in return. At the same time, he felt more respect for Hua Haining. This was how an elder should behave. Senior brother Lin, there's no need to apologize. If you feel bad, then when Night Sorrow enters the Exalt stage, you can help him upgrade his weapon. We'll provide the materials ourselves. Wu Lingfei looked at Lin Yuandao, who was about to apologize. Leave this matter to me. Lin Yuandao nodded and said. That's more or less done, said Wu Lingfei. By the way, there's one more thing. The realm of unbounded desolation is currently in chaos. Night Sorrow, if you're interested, you can go take a look. Lin Yuandao said to Night Sorrow, Ling Long, and the others. The realm of unbounded desolation is divided between humans and beasts, Night Sorrow said. Won't the beast sovereigns hate us if we go there? How should I put it? Hua Haining said. It's possible. For example, if you kill a spirit beast or a spirit beast's descendant, it'll easily lead to conflict. Don't worry. Night Sorrow, you guys go ahead. Are you afraid of being killed? If you're afraid of being killed, then just lie there quietly. Don't come out and cause a beast tide. Wu Lingfei nodded at Night Sorrow. Alright, Hua Haining said. I'll arrange for someone to go with you later. If you're killed by a beast sovereign, it'll be because you're weak. However, if you're killed by a beast sovereign, it'll be because of the incompetence of our seniors in Tianji Tower. Elder Hua, there's no need for that. I'll go with you. Wu Lingfei took over the task. After all, she didn't want anyone else to protect Night Sorrow. Now that everything is more or less settled, can we drink without worry? Lin Yuandao said with a smile. Afterwards, Yang Lei, Ling Long, and Sikong Chuyu served the dishes. Andy Feng had already prepared a banquet for them as soon as the two of them entered. After the dishes were served, Wu Lingfei took the wine that Night Sorrow poured for her and asked, Are you confident, Senior Marshal Brother Lin? More or less. Lin Yuandao said. The main thing is that it'll be more difficult for me to make the breakthrough with my ultimate attribute. Wu Lingfei nodded. She understood Lin Yuandao's thoughts. He wanted a good foundation, just like she did before she insisted on making the breakthrough with her life attribute. After drinking, Lin Yuandao and Hua Haining left. They were here to take a look at Tianji Tower's second base. Night Sorrow also found out where Tianji Tower's second base was. Tianji Tower's second base was located at Tianqiong Mountain in the Medicine Valley region. Night Sorrow didn't know the exact location. Auntie Fei, why is Tianji Tower only building its second base? Is it difficult to build a base? Night Sorrow asked Wu Lingfei, who was drinking tea. Wu Lingfei didn't hide anything from them and said, Not really. They only built small bases in the past. After all, large bases would be feared by the local forces, so they needed an opportunity. In the past, Taiqing Domain was the most prosperous among the 9 domains, and the strongest force in Taiqing Domain was the Night Moon Dynasty. The Yin Dynasty had a close relationship with Tianji Tower, so the first base was built in Taiqing Domain. Since Auntie Fei knows about the first base, then you must know a lot about Taiqing Domain, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 526. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Is it the Tianji Tower's first base that Aunt Fei established? Night Sorrow was shocked. Love go little say W. Chu Wu Lingfei nodded and said, Yes. That's why Aunt Fei has had contact with both the Night Moon Dynasty and the Yun Clan Dynasty. She even fought Yun Tianlong once. Night Sorrow nodded. The Night Moon dynasty used to be a colossus in the realm of grand purity, but it no longer existed. At that time, the Night Moon Emperor Yi Tian didn't show up in public anymore. Aunt Fei also communicated with an emperor of the Night Moon dynasty when we established the first base. Wu Lingfei explained the situation in the Night Moon dynasty. Night Sorrow sighed and said, "Yeah, I'm just asking." Then, Wu Lingfei explained the situation in the realm of unbounded desolation to Night Sorrow and the girls. The realm of unbounded desolation was the realm with the strongest beast cultivators. Beast cultivators had almost dominated the realm of unbounded desolation. Even now, most of the realm of unbounded desolation was still under their control. Why would the demon beast start a beast tide? Yang Lei asked, puzzled. The beast tide is a disaster for humans, but it has two meanings for the demon beasts. The first is that the demon beasts reproduce quickly, and if their numbers are too large, it will be a huge blow to the demon beasts' population. There won't be enough food and resources, so some of them will have to be eliminated. The second meaning is that some of the demon beasts with no potential will be used to attack humans. This way, some of the demon beasts with no value will be eliminated, and some of the human territories will be occupied. Wu Lingfei explained the origin and reason of the beast tide. I see. Let's go fight them then, although it has nothing to do with the Eastern Xian realm. Night Sorrow said. His main purpose was to capture some flying mounts. Guanyi didn't have one yet, and Night Sorrow had been worried about that. All right. You guys get ready. We'll set off in 2 days. With that, Wu Lingfei rose and returned to the observation tower. Actually, there isn't much to prepare. I'm just going to see if Tianji Tower and blood-robed guards are going to fight. Exquisite, are you going? Night Sorrow stood up and asked Exquisite. I want to go, but I can't. Elder Huo wants me to go to the base to take a look. We're all celestial fate emissaries, so the treatment is different. Ling Long said gloomily. This shows how much they value you. All right, I'll get back to work. Night Sorrow got up and walked toward the residential area on the left side of the mansion. This was where the Bloodstrike Guards and Tianji Tower teams rested. After finding Ho Jian and Blood Piercing, Night Sorrow asked them to assemble the team. The Tianji Tower team and the Blood-Robed Guard team assembled quickly, forming 2 lines in a matter of moments. Here's the thing. I plan to go to the realm of unbounded desolation in a few days. There's a beast tide there. What do you think? Night Sorrow asked. Blood Piercing turned around and looked at the Bloodstrike Guards, who all nodded, and said, We want to go, but it's up to you, Captain. Ho Jian turned around and looked at Lei Bao and the others. I don't need to say anything. Who doesn't want to go? Lei Bao waved his hand and said, Of course. See you, Original X Chapter 06. A few days ago, Lei Bao and Lei Zheng had both reached the 5th stage. In other words, among Night Sorrow's 2 teams, only Qin Zhen and Ho Qingjie were at the spirit severing stage. Ho Qingjie's cultivation base had also reached the late spirit severing stage. After all, Qin Zhen had only cultivated for a short time. It was already very rare for him to reach the peak of the spirit severing stage. Night Sorrow waved his arm and said, Then you should prepare yourselves. We'll be fighting across realms in a few days. It's been a while since we fought side by side. I'm looking forward to it. Captain, you'll have to spend a lot of money. We'll need a lot of spirit stones to use the teleportation portal, Nan Liues said with a smile. That's not a problem. I can still afford to take care of my brothers and sisters, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Of course, Captain isn't an ordinary person. Lei Bao gave Night Sorrow a thumbs up. In fact, these problems might be troublesome in the eyes of others, but they were nothing to Night Sorrow. Yi Shang did not have many medium-grade spirit stones, only a few hundred. However, a high-grade spirit stone could be exchanged for 100 medium-grade spirit stones. Yi Shang's high-grade spirit stones were like a small mountain in his storage ring. He could never use them all. Haha. Captain is so domineering. Let's get ready. We can set off at any time, Blood-Piercing said. There's one more thing. If you don't have enough resources, just say the word. Don't delay your cultivation because of the lack of resources. I have clear void pills and void pills. As long as you can eat them, I have them, Night Sorrow emphasized again. Bang! After hearing Night Sorrow's words, the members of the Blood Strike Guard and Tianji Tower stood upright. They all held their weapons in their right hands and pounded their chests with their left hands. This was the most respectful etiquette and also the highest form of loyalty. You don't have to do this. As a brother, I will do whatever I can for you. It's not for anything else, but for when I look back a few years later and see that my brothers are still around. If you want to do this, you need strength. As long as you work hard, I will find a way to get resources, Night Sorrow said. Captain, don't worry. No matter what, we will never give up on our brothers. No matter when, as long as you drink with us, there will be no shortage of people, Blood-Piercing said as he stepped forward. All right, I will let you know when it's time to set off, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow left, but the team didn't disperse. Blood-Piercing looked at his brothers behind him and said, I forgot to tell you last time. When we used to cultivate in the mountains, some of us got some materials. Take out the high-grade materials and give them to the captain. After hearing Blood-Piercing's words, the members of the Blood Strike Guard began to hand over their alchemy materials. On Ho Jian's side, a few people also took out their materials. Without Night Sorrow's care and resources, alchemy materials were equivalent to resources and elixirs. This was very important to a cultivator, as it was their lifeblood. However, to the members of the Blood Strike Guard and Tianji Tower, alchemy materials were useless. They were just gifts or decorations. Gifts. Night Sorrow was helping everyone to provide resources and elixirs. Was it appropriate to give his materials to others? First of all, he couldn't get past his conscience. Night Sorrow returned to the martial arts arena and began to cultivate. He cultivated the Covering Sky Hand. A few days ago, Night Sorrow had upgraded the Covering Sky Hand to the highest level. After upgrading the Covering Sky Hand to the highest level, Night Sorrow could use 3 palms, 1 palm with True Qi and 2 palms with the Myriad Tao Treasured Scripture. After using the Covering Sky Hand with the Myriad Tao Treasured Scripture's energy, Night Sorrow looked at his hands and suddenly had an idea. If he circulated the power of Desolates to his hands, what would the Covering Sky Hand be like? Night Sorrow wasn't a sloppy person. He acted as soon as he thought of it. He circulated the power of Desolates in his body to his right hand and slapped a huge rock in front of him. Chapter 527. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. After sending out this palm strike, Night Sorrow was extremely shocked. This was because the power of Desolates had not been consumed at all. After being sent out, Night Sorrow's soul power probed and it followed Night Sorrow's soul power back into Night Sorrow's body. Love go little say, Chu. After recovering for a while, Night Sorrow used a small portion of the Myriad Tao Tome's energy and sent out another palm strike with the power of Desolates. After sending out this palm strike, Night Sorrow realized that the attack power had decreased a little, but the power of Desolate's attack was still there. The range of the palm strike was once again invaded by the power of Desolates, and it was very serious. Haha. Night Sorrow laughed loudly. Although he could not use the power of Desolates to strengthen himself, the erosion of the power of time was too overbearing. What's wrong with you? Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu, who were practicing carving in the main hall, walked out. What are you doing? Ah. What is this? Why is this tree decaying? Seeing the mess Night Sorrow had made, Sikong Chuyu was very surprised. At this time, Wu Lingfei also came over and looked at the decaying trees and flowers. Can it be used for attack? Yes, although it's only a lock, the effect is very strong. Love go little say, Chu. Night Sorrow nodded and said. Very good. Don't mess around. If you mess around like this, the mansion will be destroyed by you. Wu Lingfei looked again at the mess Night Sorrow had made, shook her head, and left. Come back with me. Yang Lei pulled Night Sorrow's arm and entered the main hall. Drink some water and then confess. Sikong Chuyu said after pouring a cup of tea for Night Sorrow. It's not that I wanted to hide it from you. It's just that I was a little annoyed by the questions that day, so I went to cultivate and didn't talk about it. Night Sorrow drank the water and briefly explained the power of desolates. All right. There's nothing much to say about your ability. Even Auntie Fei can't refine the power of desolates, but you can. That's too awesome. Sikong Chuyu said with some emotion. #original, initials, send, 13, do you have the power of time, space and nothingness? Yang Lei asked. Yes. Night Sorrow nodded. Any one of these three is enough to shock the world. You actually gathered all three into one. Love go little say. Yang Lei patted Night Sorrow's shoulder, not knowing what to say. Let's not talk about that. Let's get ready. We're going to the realm of unbounded desolation. It'll probably take us a long time to get there. You women will need a lot of things, so make sure you're well prepared. With these words, Night Sorrow left for his private cultivation room. Over the next 2 days, Night Sorrow had the blood-robed guard and Tianji Tower's team walk around the streets and make some preparations. On the third day, Wu Lingfei found Night Sorrow and told him to take everyone to the realm of unbounded desolation. Night Sorrow gathered the Tianji Tower's team and the blood-robed guard. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu also joined the Tianji Tower's team. Although she was Night Sorrow's fiancé, team discipline was still the most important thing. This was something that both Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu understood. Night Sorrow tightened his grip on the reincarnation spear on his back and asked, "Is there a problem?" No problem. The Tianji Tower's team and the blood-robed guards team shouted in unison. Then let's go. Wu Lingfei nodded at Night Sorrow. Love go little say ku. After nodding at Wu Lingfei, Night Sorrow turned around and gave the order, release the mounts. Let's go. Then, everyone's mounts rose into the air. Wu Lingfei's body flickered and landed on Tianyu's back. After reaching the 5th grade, Tianyu's intelligence was almost as good as a human's. Knowing that Wu Lingfei was Night Sorrow's family, he didn't resist. After arriving at the teleportation portal, everyone put away their mounts. Night Sorrow paid the teleportation fee, and the group started teleporting. First, they went to East Smoke City in the Taiyue domain, then East Garden City. After leaving East Garden City, they had to fly to Wui City in the northern part of the Taiyue domain. Only then could they teleport to Northern Blue City, a coastal city close to the realm of unbounded desolation. Although Night Sorrow's mount was fast, it had to accommodate the slowest member. The blood-robed guards' mounts were all at the peak of the 3rd grade. Fortunately, they weren't too slow. During the day, they traveled, and at night, they set up camp and cultivated. None of them were flowers in a greenhouse. They had all experienced wilderness survival and long journeys. Traveling like this wasn't a problem for them. That brother of yours is pretty good. Although his cultivation base is at the bottom of the group, he'll definitely catch up in the future. His darkness attribute is quite powerful. Wu Lingfei, who had returned to her tent to drink tea, said after checking on everyone's state of cultivation. After pouring himself a cup of tea, Night Sorrow said, "By the way, Aunt Fei, there's one more thing I haven't told you yet." "What is it?" Wu Lingfei asked with a smile. She liked the way Night Sorrow talked to her about everything. Then, Night Sorrow told her about the resurrection of his 12th senior brother, Guanyi, and that the main reason for it was the Dark Spirit Saint. The Dark Spirit Saint is quite capable. He's also quite open-minded. Don't worry. That kind of person wouldn't trick your 12th senior brother. If he wanted to use some sort of method to resurrect himself, you wouldn't be able to find out or stop it. Wu Lingfei explained the results of her analysis. I believe in this. My master, senior brother, and senior sister also believe in this. Perhaps others will be worried about this. But as time passes, the facts will prove everything. Night Sorrow said. As long as a cultivator of the death attribute grows up, his future will be very bright. In addition, as his cultivation base increases, he'll be able to activate and refine the memory fragments of the Dark Spirit Saint. He'll be able to comprehend some of the cultivation experiences and battle techniques. It can be said that his future is very good. Wu Lingfei emphasized Guan Ye's future twice. If that's the case, then my 12th senior brother still has the possibility of obtaining the insights of the Dark Spirit Saint? Night Sorrow said with some surprise. It's easy to communicate with smart people. I just don't know what the soul fragments of the Dark Spirit Saint left behind. If it's related to the comprehension of the power of laws, then you know what it means. At the very least, your 12th senior brother will be able to cultivate to the half-step saint level. Wu Lingfei said. I understand. It seems that among us brothers and sisters, my 12th senior brother's potential is the greatest, said Yishang. What are you talking about? You think you can't reach that level? Wu Lingfei reached out and knocked Night Sorrow's head. I'm still not in the right place, but I'll work hard. Night Sorrow said. Actually, this is both a benefit and a disadvantage. If he can comprehend the soul fragments of the Dark Spirit Saint, then there will be a certain resistance to his comprehension of the realm. If he can't break through the shackles, then his achievements will be fixed. Do you understand what I mean? Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I understand, and I believe in myself. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 528. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? I will provide you with interesting novels to read. Night Sorrow understood what Wu Lingfei meant. According to normal estimations, if Guan Ye's growth was smooth, he would be able to obtain the fragments of Dark Spirit Saint's insights. His achievements would be very high, but no matter how high he was, he wouldn't be able to surpass the saint realm. At most, he would be a half-step saint. After all, it was impossible for Guan Yi to obtain all of Dark Spirit Saint's memory fragments. If he lacked even a little bit, he wouldn't be able to enter the saint realm. This was different from other cultivators. When ordinary cultivators needed to comprehend the power of laws, they just needed to find a medium to do so. For example, source stones, saint crystals, the death space, the heaven vault, the sea heart island where Tai Shu Yan lived, and other places with the power of laws. They could comprehend whatever they lacked. However, Guan Yi couldn't. He could only comprehend the power of laws that Dark Spirit Saint grasped when he entered the saint realm. Have you thought it through? Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. There's nothing to think about. Cultivation is endless. Only the unknown is worth working hard. If you know your end point, there's no meaning. Night Sorrow said. Aunt Fei likes your attitude. According to Aunt Fei's estimations, you will only be able to display your true strength after entering the Venerable Realm. You have the Void Source Stone, why are you worried about not being able to comprehend the Void laws? In front of the True Origin bead, the Source Stone was too weak. The Source Stone only contained a portion of the power of laws. But the Origin bead was different. It contained the power of laws to perfection. Love go little say, Chu Wu Lingfei patted his shoulder and said. Aunt Fei, don't worry. Some things won't affect my state of mind. Night Sorrow smiled at Wu Lingfei. Actually, there are times when Aunt Fei is suspicious. How can a person like you appear? In the endless years, there hasn't been a single cultivator who has the void attribute. Not only do you have the void attribute, you even obtained a supreme treasure of the void attribute. You have both talent and opportunity. This can be said to be peerless. Wu Lingfei said. Aunt Fei, don't praise me. It's easy to ruin my state of mind. Night Sorrow smiled. Wu Lingfei patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. She knew that Night Sorrow's greatest highlight wasn't his cultivation or treasures, but his mental state. After resting for a night, everyone continued their journey towards their target city. It took them 7 days to reach Wui City. After arriving at Wui City, concubine Wu Lingfei had everyone stay in an inn for a comfortable night before taking the teleportation formation to Northern Blue City. Normally, the Taiyue domain's teleportation formation was already under the control of the Eastern Xian domain. In addition, there were also secret strategic teleportation formations. These were all under Wu Lingfei's control. They could be used directly, but Wu Lingfei didn't think it was necessary. The Tianji Tower Squad and the Blood-Robed Guard Squad also needed to train. After putting away their mounts, they teleported to Nanxiang City in the realm of unbounded desolation. Night Sorrow and Wu Lingfei ended up in Nanxiang City. After having Night Sorrow arrange for everyone to rest, Wu Lingfei took Night Sorrow to the Tianji Tower branch in Nanxiang City. Seeing the two of them wearing masks, the person in charge of the Tianji Tower branch in Nanxiang City bowed and greeted them. Wu Lingfei asked him about the demon beast tide. After hearing the report, Wu Lingfei and Night Sorrow learned that the problem was in the Thousand Desolation mountain range in the western part of the realm of unbounded desolation, near the realm of Three Origins. The two of them also knew that the Empyrean Terminus Tower had also sent people over, mainly because the beast tide this time was very serious. According to the news sent back from the front line, there were millions of beasts in this beast tide, and there was no lack of high-level demonic beasts among them. There were even venerable realm demonic beasts in human form. Afterwards, Night Sorrow and Wu Lingfei left the Tianji Tower branch and returned to the inn. Wu Lingfei took a cup of tea from Night Sorrow and said, "It's really serious. 1,000,000 demon beasts is just a number now, but it'll be a shocking scene when we see them in person." Night Sorrow looked at Wu Lingfei and asked, "Auntie Fei, the battle between humans and demon beasts won't affect you, right?" Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and said, "No, it won't. Of course, if they're from the same clan as me, it'll be a different story." "Auntie Fei, you're called the Golden Phoenix. What clan are you from?" Night Sorrow asked. Wu Lingfei smiled at Night Sorrow and said, "I'm from the Ice Phoenix clan. I haven't seen anyone from the same clan for many years. I was born and raised in the East Snow Mountain." "I want to know what you're thinking, Auntie Fei," Night Sorrow said. "I won't do anything you don't like." Wu Lingfei nodded at Night Sorrow and said, "Okay, Auntie Fei understands your feelings. The same goes for Auntie Fei. If anything happens, I'll let you know." After pondering for a moment, Night Sorrow asked, "Are we going to work with the people from the Tianji Tower branch in the realm of unbounded desolation?" "That depends. The head of the Tianji Tower branch in the realm of unbounded desolation is called Qing Mang. He was born in the realm of unbounded desolation. In fact, he's also a demon beast, but he's already assimilated into the human race," Wu Lingfei said. After a moment of hesitation, Night Sorrow asked, "How will he deal with this?" "That's not a problem. Demon beasts have two choices when they enter the Exalt realm. One is to assimilate into human society, and the other is to continue living among demon beasts. Qing Mang chose to assimilate into human society. In fact, if we look at it from the perspective of different races, tigers, snakes, and humans are just different races, not different races." Wu Lingfei explained to Night Sorrow. "If that's the case, then this matter will be much easier to deal with," Night Sorrow said. "Of course, it's just like Aunt Fei. In Aunt Fei's eyes, all demon beasts are the same as humans. They're all different races," Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow returned to his room to rest. Latest D, Chapter, W on, Z. After a night's rest, the group set off again. After taking a teleportation portal, they arrived at the Thousand Desolation City. The Thousand Desolation City was the dividing line between humans and demon beasts in the realm of unbounded desolation. To the west was the world of demon beasts, while to the east was the territory of humans. Wu Lingfei took Night Sorrow to the Tianji Tower branch in the Thousand Desolation City. As the vice head of the Tianji Tower, there were some things that she had to ask about. In the lobby of the Tianji Tower, Wu Lingfei and Night Sorrow met Qing Mang. Qing Mang was a 3-meter tall, burly man. His hair was loose, and there was a vertical sword mark between his eyebrows, which added to his fierce aura. Qing Mang greets Tower Master Wu and Heaven's Terminus Emissary. Qing Mang cupped his hands at Wu Lingfei and Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow greets Tower Master Qing Mang. Night Sorrow cupped his hands in return. In the Tianji Tower, Heaven's Terminus Emissary's status was only second to the 7 potentates. He was equal to the other tower masters. "Alright, let's find a quiet place to sit," Wu Lingfei said. Then, Qing Mang led the two to a quiet room. Chapter 529. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. What's the situation now? Wu Lingfei asked. It's very serious. Although Tianji Tower can preserve its strength, this is our hometown after all. If the beast tide comes, the civilization in the realm of unbounded desolation will deteriorate. Therefore, I've discussed it with my colleagues, and we've decided to fight to the end, Qing Mang said. Wu Lingfei interrupted Qing Mang and said, I understand. Now, I need to know how serious the situation is. The city lord of Grand Desolation City fought to a draw with the 5-clawed pterosaur the day before yesterday. In addition, there's more than one commander commanding the beast tide, so the situation isn't optimistic. I just came back from there, Qing Mang said. Then it's not an ordinary beast tide. The beast tide is fake, and the invasion of human territory is real. What's the cultivation base of the 5-clawed pterosaur? Wu Lingfei asked. It's a peak venerable. Although its battle skills are crude, it's extremely talented. The city lord of Grand Desolation City can withstand it, but he can't defeat it, Qing Mang said. Wu Lingfei thought for a moment and said, I've brought some young cultivators with me to gain experience. I'll talk to the city lord of Grand Desolation City tomorrow and then make some decisions. All right. Where are they? I'll arrange accommodations for them. Master Wu Lingfei and Heaven Terminus Emissary, you can stay in the backyard. Love go little say, Chu Qing Mang said. We've already stayed in the inn, so there's no need to trouble Subtower Master Qing Mang. Don't worry, I'll make the appropriate arrangements. However, we still need to see the city lord's attitude. Let's go back first, Wu Lingfei said. Qing Mang nodded and saw Wu Lingfei and Night Sorrow out of the Tianji Tower branch. Looking at Wu Lingfei and Night Sorrow's departing figures, Qing Mang shook her head helplessly. She knew what Wu Lingfei meant. Qing Mang knew what Wu Lingfei meant. If the city lord of Grand Desolation City showed a good attitude, then Wu Lingfei and Tianji Tower's headquarters could help solve the problem. But if they didn't, then Wu Lingfei's approach would change. At that time, he had only acted out of the interest of Tianji Tower. With Wu Lingfei's ability to suppress the demon beast tide, it wouldn't be a problem for her to ask the demon beasts for a safe haven in the realm of unbounded desolation. It could even be said that the demon beast tide was an opportunity for the Tianji Tower. Baidu search AI go female sign shao say www.aichuxs.com. Tianji Tower did not fight for territory, but at this time, if they wanted to share a territory with the demon beasts would also compromise. If they did not compromise, then the consequences would be very serious. Of course, the premise was that Wu Lingfei could control the situation. Wu Lingfei and Night Sorrow returned to the inn. Auntie Fei, do we need to know what the city lord mansion's attitude is? Is that important? Night Sorrow asked. It's not important, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. But it's good that we can fight for some benefits for Tianji Tower. After hearing Wu Lingfei's words, Night Sorrow immediately understood what she meant. If the city lord mansion in Grand Desolation City couldn't hold the demon beast tide, they would need outside help, and there was no one stronger than Wu Lingfei. It was impossible that the Nine Realms Royal City didn't know about the battle between Wu Lingfei and Ji Yuhaitian. If they wanted to use Wu Lingfei as an outside force, they would have to show their sincerity. Anyone who wasn't a fool would understand this sincerity. Auntie Fei, will this make things difficult for the leader of Qing Mang's branch? Night Sorrow asked. No, it won't. I made it clear because I don't want Qing Meng to be estranged. Besides, now that the City Lord Mansion in the realm of Unbounded Desolation and the Heaven Poles branch in the realm of Unbounded Desolation and the Slaughter Halls branch in the realm of Unbounded Desolation are fighting each other, they should have put aside their differences. Only I can be the villain, but I don't mind, Wu Lingfei said. I understand. Knight Sorrow nodded. After that, the two of them returned to the tavern and sat down to meditate and rest. Qing Meng hesitated for a while before putting on her mask and leaving the Heaven Poles branch. She arrived at the command tent in the middle of the Thousand Desolation mountain range. The leader of Qing Meng's branch is here, a man in a tiger fur coat said. City Lord Hu Shao, I have something to discuss with the City Lord, Qing Meng said. She was the only official version of you, while the other three were Heist 9 versions. The man in the tiger fur coat, Hu Shao, the City Lord of Grand Desolation City, said, in the past, our City Lord Mansion and Tianji Tower might have been competitors. But now, we're united against the outside world. You can speak your mind. As long as the City Lord Mansion can do it, we'll do it. Qing Meng looked at Hu Shao and said, it's going to be difficult for the human camp in the realm of Unbounded Desolation to withstand the demon beast tide. However, we have an opportunity today. I don't have the final say in controlling this opportunity. It's up to the City Lord. An opportunity? We can't kill the 5-clawed pterodactyl and the 3-legged ape king. Hu Shao sighed. The leader of Tianji Tower, Tower Master Wu, has come to the realm of Unbounded Desolation and met with me. However, she said that it's up to the City Lord Mansion whether to help or not, Qing Meng said. A woman on Hu Zhao's left pointed at Qing Meng and said, isn't that what you want, Qing Meng? All right. I'll pretend I didn't come here today. Qing Meng sighed and turned to leave the tent. Wait. Elder Guan apologized to Tower Master Qing Meng. Hu Shao called out to Qing Meng. At the same time, he roared at the woman beside him. I'm sorry, Tower Master Qing Meng. It's just that I feel that you're taking advantage of the situation by saying that. Elder Guan clasped his hands at Qing Meng. Perhaps. I was born in the realm of Unbounded Desolation, and I'm willing to die fighting for the realm of Unbounded Desolation. However, we can't ask others to do the same. Why should they? It's only right for them to fight for Tianji Tower, but there has to be a reason for them to fight for the realm of Unbounded Desolation. Everyone in the tent fell silent, as they all knew that Qing Meng's words made sense. In the realm of Eastern Xian, Wu Lingfei was the leader of the City Lord Mansion and Tianji Tower. If someone from the headquarters of Tianjin Tower helped her, it would be the same as helping her, since the City Lord Mansion supported the development of Tianjin Tower. However, the realm of Unbounded Desolation was different. The City Lord Mansion and Tianjin Tower were competitors. Of course, the headquarters of Tianjin Tower wouldn't help her for free. I'm here to deliver the message. This has already made me lose the principle of Tianjin Tower. Now, it's up to you. Even if you refuse, I'll fight to the end. After all, I'm a member of the realm of Unbounded Desolation. With these words, Qing Meng left the tent. As for what the higher-ups of the realm of Unbounded Desolation thought, she didn't care, nor did she want to care. This time, Hu Shao and the others didn't stop Qing Meng. Now that the matter had been made clear, the people from the City Lord Mansion were going to discuss how to negotiate with Wu Lingfei. Chapter 530. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. She became a saint with high-level attributes, so her combat power was naturally strong. At that time, she had just advanced and her strength was not stable yet. She did not even have a suitable spiritual treasure. Now, it is different. Her combat power is even more shocking. Another City Lord's Mansion elder spoke up. That's right. Another City Lord's Mansion elder spoke up. All right. Let's talk to her tomorrow and see what happens, Hu Shao said after some thought. Right now, Hu Shao and the others had no other choice because there were simply too many demonic beasts. They had flown to investigate and found that there were at least 1 million of them. A few small cities in the vicinity of the Thousand Desolation mountain range were instantly destroyed. Not a single person was left alive as they were directly flattened. All of the cities in the realm of unbounded desolation that extended from Thousand Desolation City had been destroyed. It could be said that not only had the realm of unbounded desolation lost all of the territory it had built over the past hundreds of years, but it had also lost hundreds of thousands of people. Hu Shao and the others were determined to fight to the death, but seeing groups of people die still pained them. If they could persuade Wu Lingfei to help, they were willing to pay the price. After daybreak, Wu Lingfei and Night Sorrow didn't lead the Bloodstrike Guards and Tianji Tower out. Instead, they rested and drank tea in the inn. Auntie Fei, don't we need to meet the people from the Great Desolation City Lord Mansion? Night Sorrow asked after pouring a cup of tea for Wu Lingfei. There's no need. Qing Mang will send the message. What he wants most is for the City Lord's mansion to have an attitude. And, they're here. Wu Lingfei said. At the same time, she waved her hand and put on her veil. After seeing her true appearance on Night Sorrow, Wu Lingfei no longer hid her true appearance in front of people she got along well with. However, the people of Grand Desolate City didn't have the qualifications to do so. Just as Wu Lingfei said this, Qing Mang and Hu Shao brought a few elders from the City Lord Mansion to the backyard. Grand Desolation City's Hu Shao greets Lord Golden Phoenix. Hu Shao cupped his hands towards Wu Lingfei. You're too kind, Lord of Roaring Tiger City. Wu Lingfei nodded. Qing Mang bowed and said, I was the one who informed the governor of Roaring Tiger City to come here. I hope that the realm of unbounded desolation can survive this crisis. Please punish me, Mistress Wu Quebec, it's not your fault. You're from the realm of unbounded desolation. It's your duty to think for the realm of unbounded desolation. Wu Lingfei waved her hand at Qing Mang and helped her to her feet. May I know what Lord Golden Phoenix needs me to do? What do you need the Great Wilderness City to do? Hu Shao asked. There was no point in beating around the bush at this point, so he went straight to the point. I don't need you to do anything, Wu Lingfei said. I just need you to promise me that as long as the Tianji Tower doesn't threaten the stability of the realm of unbounded desolation, the City Lord of Grand Desolation will not obstruct the development of the Tianji Tower or interfere with its business. That's it? Hu Shao looked at Wu Lingfei in surprise. X original version 1 original version, yes, that's all. If there's no problem, I'll take care of the 5-clawed pterosaur and the 3-legged ape king. Hu Shao let out a sigh of relief inwardly. No problem. I can make that promise, and the City Lord of Grand Desolation will uphold it in the future. Hu Shao had been worried that Wu Lingfei would demand an exorbitant price. If that happened, he would be in a dilemma. If he didn't agree, countless people would die in the realm of unbounded desolation. If he agreed, he would have to pay a heavy price, perhaps even his dignity. Baidu search AI go female sign Shao say www.aichuxs.com for Qing Mang's sake, I won't make things difficult for you. You can go back now. I'll be there later, Wu Lingfei said, driving them away. For the Tianji Tower, the City Lord of Grand Desolation City's promise was enough. The headquarters of the Tianjin Tower couldn't just stand by and do nothing. After all, many of the members of the realm of unbounded desolation were from the realm of unbounded desolation. If the Tianjin Tower stood by and did nothing, it would hurt their feelings. Is that all, Auntie Fei? Night Sorrow, who had been standing behind Wu Lingfei, asked after Hu Shao and the people from the City Lord of Grand Desolation City left. Yes, Wu Lingfei said. A man who is willing to bend for the greater good of the realm of unbounded desolation is a man of his word. He's a man of his word. Qing Mang, who hadn't left, said, yes, Lord Hu Shao has no problem with that. After Night Sorrow gathered his men, Wu Lingfei led Night Sorrow and the others towards the Thousand Desolation mountain range. Qing Mang followed them. Qing Mang, can you ask the City Lord of Grand Desolation City if he has any desolation stones? If he does, I'm willing to pay a high price for them, Wu Lingfei said to Qing Mang. All right, that won't be a problem. I'll tell Hu Shao about it when I see him later, Qing Meng said. Knight Sorrow, who was standing on the other side of Wu Lingfei, was very touched. He knew that Wu Lingfei had made this request on his behalf. After arriving at the defensive line, Knight Sorrow arranged for his men to set up camp. He found that the defensive line here was even tighter than the one in Broken Cloud Mountain in the eastern Xian realm. The City Lord of Grand Desolation City has issued a high-level mission. Therefore, it's not just the City Lord of Grand Desolation who's here. Disciples from all the sects and clans in the realm of unbounded desolation are here. Even people from other realms are here, Qing Meng explained the situation to Wu Lingfei. The City Lord of Grand Desolation City is doing their best. By the way, what's the situation with the 5-clawed pterosaur and the 3-legged ape king? Wu Lingfei asked. We sent venerable experts to join the battle, Qing Meng said. Back then, the 5-clawed pterosaur and the 3-legged ape king joined the battle. Lord Hu Shao and I barely managed to hold them off. We didn't have a chance of winning. They killed many of our cultivators. I see, Wu Lingfei said. Let's see how the demonic beasts attack the defensive line. Qing Meng nodded and then went to the Tianji Tower branch in the realm of unbounded desolation. You'll join the battle tomorrow. Wu Lingfei reminded Knight Sorrow. Be careful. If you can't handle it, activate your Golden Phoenix flexible armor. Wu Lingfei valued the members of the Tianji Tower branch and the Blood Strike Guard very much. However, Knight Sorrow was her only family member. To put it bluntly, Wu Lingfei had paid close attention to the Tianji Tower branch and the Blood Strike Guard mostly because of Knight Sorrow. While the two of them were talking, Ho Jian came over. He brought people to make a big tent, which was prepared for Wu Ling concubine. After taking Wu Lingfei to the tent, Knight Sorrow went to talk to the members of the Tianji Tower branch and the Blood Strike Guard. The situation is more serious than we thought, Knight Sorrow said. It's not a game, but a real bloody battle. Ho Jian and Xue Ling nodded. Don't worry, Captain. We're all prepared. There won't be any problems. Knight Sorrow looked at the members of the Tianji Tower branch and the Blood Strike Guard branch and said, remember our mission. Don't abandon any of our brothers. Then, Knight Sorrow told the others to rest. He entered the tent that the Qingjin branch had prepared for him, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu. After entering the tent, Knight Sorrow released Silver Fox. We're going to fight tomorrow. If there's a suitable mount, remember to get one for your 12th senior brother, Yang Lei said. There are all kinds of demonic beasts in this beast tide. If there's a suitable mount, I'll get one for 12th senior brother. Knight Sorrow nodded. Chapter 531. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. What exactly does the Fire Phoenix need to evolve? Knight Sorrow asked. Love go little say W. Chu, it needs a fire attribute treasure. I don't know exactly what it needs. The Fire Phoenix has the bloodline of an ancient mutated beast, but it's still a little thin, Sikong Chuyu said. I still have a fire attribute origin stone, but it's a bit of a waste to use it. Knight Sorrow said after thinking for a while. He had a fire attribute origin stone that could be used on a rank 4 mount. That would be a waste of a heavenly treasure. What nonsense are you talking about? What's that? That's an origin stone. How can it be used carelessly? Besides, the Fire Phoenix needs energy, not rule power. Those are two different things. Sikong Chuyu stared at Knight Sorrow and said, it would be great if I could control that treasure. The void fiendish space has a magma lake, and that island also has pure fire attribute energy. Knight Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Is there any progress yet? Yang Lei asked Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow shook his head. The Void Fate Pearl was very difficult to deal with. He had started to refine it with his true chi, and now he was nourishing it with his soul power. He could only make the Void Fate Pearl not reject him and automatically defend against him. CW Original Eversion First Release. Sikong Chuyu grabbed Knight Soro's hand and said, "This isn't something to be anxious about. The treasure is with you, and you can refine it sooner or later. There's no need to rush. Look back, all the difficulties that seemed very difficult to solve in the past have been solved one by one." Knight Soro nodded. In the past, he had faced many difficulties. The problem of Old Man Gu's lifespan had always been a sore point for Knight Soro. Now, it had been solved. Not only was it solved, but he could also cultivate, so he didn't need to worry about his lifespan. As for the Medicine Valley, in the past, the Medicine Valley was suppressed and annexed by the Golden Flame sect, but in the end, the Medicine Valley emerged victorious. Moreover, the Medicine Valley had established its status as a super sect in the Eastern Profound Domain. In addition, the matter between him and Sikong Chuyu had faced many obstacles in the past. Although he hadn't proposed marriage yet, there weren't any obstacles. After all, the Sikong family no longer objected to their relationship. Sikong Chuyu said as he looked at Knight Soro, who was deep in thought, "Don't you know that you've overcome some difficulties without realizing it? As long as you work hard, nothing is impossible." Knight Soro nodded. He thought about it, and indeed, unknowingly, many difficulties had been overcome. Then, the three of them sat down and cultivated. Whether it was during a battle or a stable period, the three of them cultivated very diligently. Knight Soro was pursuing a higher realm, while the two girls didn't want to be a vase or a burden to Knight Soro. After cultivating for a whole night, Knight Soro woke up early to cultivate his spear art and his realm. While Knight Soro cultivated, Wu Lingfei watched from the side and nodded from time to time. Perhaps ordinary people wouldn't be able to see anything and would only think that Knight Soro was casually waving his spear. However, Wu Lingfei could sense the changes in Knight Soro, the spear, and the energy around him. After cultivating for a while, Knight Soro put away his spear. "Your realm has improved very well. You already have the embryonic form of the union of heaven and man. As long as your soul power improves a bit more, you will be able to merge with heaven and earth and control the energy of heaven and earth. That will be the union of heaven and man," Wu Lingfei said as she watched Knight Soro put away his spear. "I still have to work hard," Knight Soro said as he put away his spear and wiped the sweat off his forehead. "Yeah, take your time. There's no rush," Wu Lingfei said with a smile. While Wu Lingfei and Yi Shang were talking, Hu Xiao and the masked Qing Meng arrived. In the realm of unbounded desolation, Hu Xiao and Qing Meng were the two most powerful people. They were the ones in charge of dealing with the beast tide. Looking at Hu Xiao and Qing Meng, Wu Lingfei said, "You guys fight as you should. I'll deal with the five-clawed pterodactyl and the three-legged ape king. As for this team, I'll arrange for them to go wherever the most difficult part is." "Okay." Hu Xiao and Qing Meng nodded. Then, Knight Soro began to organize the team. Under Qing Meng's arrangement, the team moved to the front of the defensive line. Tianji Tower's team is on the left, and the City Lord's team is on the right. "If there's a problem, move to the sides," Qing Meng said to Knight Soro. "Thank you, Sub-Tower Leader Qing Meng." "We'll be fine," Knight Soro said as he made preparations. Knight Soro had already strapped the heaven-piercing spear to his waist. Tianyu was hovering in the air behind the team, and Silver Fox was at Knight Soro's feet. "Be careful. If you can't hold on, pull back. Don't take any risks," Knight Soro ordered the people behind him. Yang Lei stood among the Tianji Tower's team. She looked at Knight Soro with a dazed expression. The Knight Soro in front of her was completely different from the Knight Soro she remembered. Knight Soro was no longer a teenager in her eyes. Instead, he was a young man. His body wasn't tall, but it was straight and straight. His black hair was tied into a bun on the top of his head and fluttered in the wind. His eyes were so bright that people couldn't look at him directly. His face was still a little tender, but it was more of a determined look. "Ninth senior sister, do you think that 13 has changed a lot?" "In fact, we have to look at him from a different perspective. He's now a man who can take charge of a region by himself. He's also a man who can shield us from the wind and rain with his back, Sikong Chuyu said. It's just that there's a trace of vicissitudes in his bright eyes. It makes my heart ache to see him like this, Yang Lei said. Sikong Chuyu nodded. She also had the same feeling. She understood that it had nothing to do with age. It was a sign that he had experienced too much. Qing Mang then left to communicate with Hu Shao. After Night Sorrow finished his preparations, he looked at the sea of monsters on the opposite side. If this was a normal beast horde, the demonic beasts would advance and spread out courageously. However, this was not the case. The beast horde in front of them was led by a commander. There were flying beasts in the sky and various demonic beasts roaring on the ground. It's very dangerous. Everyone, be careful, Night Sorrow reminded them as he looked at the rolling monster tide. Night Sorrow was indeed worried. The number of monsters was much greater than the number of dark creatures they had to face in the Broken Cloud Mountain range. Moments later, the flags on the defensive line were waved, signaling the start of the attack. The realm of unbounded desolation sent a few sovereigns to charge at the monster tide. If they didn't disrupt the formation of the monster tide, the human team would suffer great losses. Although it was a little shameless for the sovereigns to go into battle, they had no other choice. At this moment, a few sovereigns rushed out from the monster tide and stopped the human sovereigns. Ha ha ha. I gave you a chance, but you didn't take it. Today, we're going to break through your lousy defensive line. Second brother, we've been waiting for you for a while. Today, we're going to charge in. A monster with 5 sharp claws on its abdomen and a pair of huge black wings on its back soared into the sky from the monster tide. At this moment, roars rang out from the monster tide behind it. A giant white ape the size of a small mountain appeared, followed by a huge 2-headed flood dragon, each of which was more than 3 meters in diameter. 3 Beast Kings. Chapter 532. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? This is a wonderful novel for you to read. Meanwhile, Hu Shao, Qing Mang, and the experts from the city lord's mansion rose into the air again. What the hell do you want? Hu Shao roared, brandishing his battle saber. What do we want? The realm of unbounded desolation belongs to us beast cultivators. Go back to where you came from. And you, what's your choice? You're only going to die. After roaring at Hu Shao, the 5-clawed pterosaur pointed one of its sharp claws at Qing Mang. You're shameless. Hu Shao said coldly. The situation in the realm of unbounded desolation isn't new. You can't do whatever you want. You'd better go back to where you came from, lest something bad happens. If it were before, Hu Shao wouldn't have been so confident. After all, 2 demon kings were more than enough to make him and Qing Mang suffer. They could only hold their ground, but not defeat them. Now, however, 3 demon kings had come. If it weren't for the fact that the human side had an invincible expert, the situation would have taken a turn for the worse. This made Hu Shao feel lucky that Wu Lingfei had come. Now, he understood why the demon kings hadn't gone all out to attack the human side during this time. They were waiting for another demon king to come. Ha ha ha. Something bad happened? Since you want to fight, let's use your blood to prove that the realm of unbounded desolation will return to the human side. The 5-clawed pterosaur roared. Heaven's will is as sharp as a blade. You'd better go back to your secluded cultivation. It's useless to rely on this kind of battle. Perhaps you'll gain some luck if you win, but it'll also go against heaven's will. The 5-clawed pterosaur roared at Wu Lingfei. Who are you? It doesn't matter who I am, Wu Lingfei said. What matters is that I'm on the side of the human side. You have no chance of winning. A saint? I don't care about an elementary saint. The 5-clawed pterosaur roared angrily. Not only had it failed to gain the upper hand when the 2-headed flood dragon arrived, but Wu Lingfei's appearance had put it at a disadvantage again. Do you really want to fight? Wu Lingfei waved her arm, and the polar moon will appeared behind her. Then, it spun rapidly. At first, it covered her face and body with a veil, but after a while, it became clear again. This was because the polar moon had spun to the extreme, to the point where it was invisible to the naked eye. I'll kill whoever blocks my way. This king is going to kill a saint today. The five-clawed pterosaur roared and charged at Wu Lingfei. I've already warned you, yet you still want to fight. You brought this upon yourself. Wu Lingfei sent out a palm with her left hand and waved her right arm. Dozens of life chains appeared in the air. Wu Lingfei used Ice Seal with her left hand to restrict the five-clawed pterosaur to a certain range. Then, she used life chains to control the five-clawed pterosaur, trapping it in a protective shield. After trapping the five-clawed pterosaur, Wu Lingfei waved her right hand, and a crescent-shaped energy with a diameter of 6 meters flew towards the five-clawed pterosaur. Following the roar of the five-clawed pterosaur, the crescent moon cut through the middle of the five-clawed pterosaur's body, creating a large hole. Then, more crescent-shaped energy slashes flew out of Wu Lingfei's body, and each of them pierced through the five-clawed pterosaur's body. I didn't want to kill you, but since you want to die, then I'm sorry. Die. At this time, a silver crescent flew out of Wu Lingfei's body. This crescent was even faster, and it directly cut open a black crack in space. Then, it directly cut open the five-clawed pterosaur's head. This was the main body of the polar moon wheel. Wu Lingfei made a grabbing motion with her left hand, and the silver crescent flew back to her. At the same time, she also grabbed the five-clawed pterosaur's huge corpse. As she flicked her finger, the five-clawed pterosaur's crystal core appeared in her hand. Then, Wu Lingfei froze the five-clawed pterosaur's huge corpse and put it away. Wu Lingfei looked at the three-legged ape king and the two-headed Wyrm king and said, "You two go back and treat this as an ordinary beast tide. I'll pretend that nothing happened. You demonic beasts want to be eliminated, and the realm of unbounded desolation needs to be tested. This is what the environment needs. However, don't try to overturn the situation. The realm of unbounded desolation was established by our ancestors. It won't be destroyed by our hands. Then your venerables should go back as well." The three-legged ape king roared as he waved his huge metal stick. The five-clawed pterosaur's death made him feel powerless, but he couldn't ignore the fact that human venerables were killing demonic beasts. Wu Lingfei looked at Hu Shao and Qing Mang and asked, "City Lord Hu, Sub-Leader Qing Mang, what do you think?" Hu Shao pondered for a moment before nodding at Wu Lingfei. Then, he looked at the three-legged ape king and said, "Normal beast tides don't involve venerables, right?" The three-legged ape king nodded and said, "That's right. That's good. Don't involve venerables from either side." Then, Hu Shao let out a roar. Immediately, the venerables who were fighting the venerables all retreated. Kill! Hu Shao swung his battle saber forward. At the same time, the banner of the human camp began to flutter. As the banner fluttered, all of the venerables from the realm of unbounded desolation moved out and charged towards the demonic beasts. "City Lord Hu, Sub-Leader Qing Mang," Wu Lingfei said. "Beast tides are a law of nature. Demonic beasts need to be eliminated. We cultivators need to be tempered like this as well. Losses are inevitable. Of course, we can also temper elites." Wu Lingfei said. Hu Shao understands. Without the demon beast kings and venerables from the other side, although the cultivators on our side are having a hard time, we can still hold on. If we can't, we can retreat to the Thousand Desolation City and rely on the advantage of the city wall. After getting rid of the three behemoths from the other side, Hu Shao felt more confident. Although the number of demonic beasts was great, their levels were not uniform after all. Some of them were at the second and third level. In terms of overall strength, they were much weaker than the cultivators on the human side. Although the cultivators might suffer great losses, it was just a trial and not a disaster. Knight Sorrow led the team of Tianji Tower and the blood-robed guards and charged towards the demonic beasts. Gap. As the battle progressed, the huge gap between them was revealed. The team led by Knight Sorrow slaughtered the demonic beasts at an extremely fast speed. Only 2 of them were not at the void inquiry stage. Fighting against the demonic beasts was like a tiger entering a flock of sheep. Without the venerables blocking their way, they were invincible. As the spearhead of the team, Knight Sorrow was even more invincible. The reincarnation spear in his hand swung wildly. Every ray of spear light would take the life of a demonic beast. At this moment, Knight Sorrow was like a god of death roaming the mortal world. Every strike of his spear took a life. Even void inquiry stage demonic beasts could not withstand a single strike from him. V carat and L forever oh free fees? Look at you small m and say, Knight Sorrow's body was tyrannical and his strength was great. In addition to the vibration force and spiral force, even demonic beasts at the same level as him would not be able to withstand his violent attacks, let alone demonic beasts at the same level as him. That young man. Quickly pay attention to that young man. Why is he so ferocious? After observing the situation of Knight Sorrow's team and noticing the process of Knight Sorrow's massacre, Guaning shouted in astonishment. Qing Mang did not say anything. At this moment, Knight Sorrow was not wearing his mask. There were some things that could not be said. Chapter 533. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Very young and very powerful. Hu Shao said. Love go little say W. Chu, because he is young, he needs to gain experience, Wu Lingfei said. Knight Sorrow waved his arm, and the reincarnation spear was surrounded by an energy vortex. This was the embodiment of the realm of one with the spear. In fact, Knight Sorrow's realm had already surpassed the realm of one with the spear. It was between one with the spear and one with the heavens. After killing for a while, Knight Sorrow felt that they could not go deeper. This was an ordinary beast tide. The advantage of this was that the demonic beasts were simple-minded, but the disadvantage was that they were irrational and would attack one after another. If they were not careful, they would be besieged and exhausted to death. Let's fight on the spot and wait for them to charge. If you feel tired, just shout. Everyone, protect them. Get on your flying mounts and return to the camp, Knight Sorrow ordered. Even though they were standing on the spot, the demonic beasts still charged forward like a tide. Knight Sorrow killed the demonic beasts while paying attention to the other situation. He could not let his brothers get hurt. Knight Sorrow and the others were fine, but the other teams could not hold on. They had consumed a lot of energy, and there were also serious injuries and deaths. Retreat! Hu Shao roared. Although this was a training, it was also a war of attrition. If this continued, the cultivators would be exhausted before the demonic beasts were exhausted. All of you, get on your mounts and follow the main group. Knight Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear, and the sky-piercing spear with the ice dragon tendon flew out. He ordered the Blood Strike Guards and the members of the Tianji Tower team to get on their mounts and leave. While protecting everyone's retreat, Knight Sorrow also asked Tianyu to cooperate with him in the air. While Knight Sorrow and the others were fighting, Tianyu was not idle. He had killed many flying demonic beasts in the space. At this moment, he was hovering and killing all the flying demonic beasts in the surroundings. Knight Sorrow's body flashed and he kept attacking. At the same time, he called Silver Fox to his side. Then, he exerted force with his right foot and kicked Silver Fox to Tianyu's back. At this moment, only Lei Bao and Ho Jian were not on their mounts. What are you waiting for? Let's go. Do you think I can't leave? Knight Sorrow shouted with a smile. Let's go. We'll drink when we rest tonight. Lei Bao jumped onto the Thunderbird in a flash. Ho Jian didn't waste any time either. His body flashed and landed on the back of his mount. Knight Sorrow brandished his arms and brandished his reincarnation spear, forcing the demonic beasts that surrounded him to retreat. Then, he channeled the energy in his body into his legs and stomped on the ground twice, causing the demonic beasts to retreat. He then soared into the sky and grabbed Tianyu's sharp claws, allowing Tianyu to fly away. Love Go Little Say Ku. The Tianji Tower team and the blood-robed guard team retreated perfectly. The other teams didn't have such an effect. They were all chased by the demonic beasts and people were constantly dying in their mouths. Wu Lingfei's body flashed and landed on Tianyu's back. Auntie Fei, if we retreat, won't the defensive line collapse? Night Sorrow asked. This defensive line can't be defended. It's only a matter of time before it collapses. The best way is to retreat to Qianhuang City and use the strong defense of the city, Wu Lingfei said. That's true. The losses are too heavy if we continue to fight like this. Night Sorrow turned around and looked at the battlefield. He realized that the cultivators who hadn't retreated had already been drowned by the demonic beasts and died without a complete corpse. Then, everyone retreated to Qianhuang City. The city walls of Qianhuang City were tall and strong. The city walls extended very far and completely blocked the exit of the Qianhuang mountain range. In other words, as long as Qianhuang City wasn't lost, the demonic beasts wouldn't be able to charge in. The cultivators who retreated all went to camp on the city walls of Qianhuang City. Love Go Little Say Ku. Night Sorrow, well done. Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. She was very satisfied with Night Sorrow's current situation. His actual combat strength far exceeded his cultivation level. This was the manifestation of excellence and excellence. The most incompetent performance of a cultivator was having a high cultivation level but low combat strength. It's okay. Night Sorrow nodded and tidied up his robes. During this battle, he had been maintaining a protective barrier. Otherwise, his body would be covered in blood again. Oh right, I have something for you. Take a look and collect the materials. These are all good materials. Wu Lingfei waved her arm and the frozen corpse of the five-clawed pterosaur appeared in front of everyone. Then, Wu Lingfei slapped out with her palm and broke the ice on the corpse. The dragon blood hasn't solidified yet. Hurry up and do it, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't stand on ceremony with Wu Lingfei. He waved his reincarnation spear and began to clean up the corpse of the five-clawed pterosaur. Dragons were outstanding existences on the exotic beasts list. The five-clawed pterosaur had cultivated to the peak of the venerable realm. It could be seen that the bloodline power in its body was still very strong. Night Sorrow took out a few jars and began to collect the dragon blood. The five-clawed pterosaur's body was huge, but there were only a few jars of its blood essence. However, this was still a terrifying amount. After collecting the dragon blood, Night Sorrow also put away the dragon's gallbladder. Then, he dismantled the dragon bones, dragon tendons, and other materials. You idiot. Actually, the best refining material on dragons is the reverse scale. Wu Lingfei stretched out her arm and a ray of light flashed. A green scale the size of a human head under the five-clawed pterosaur's neck was pulled off by her. Then, she threw it to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow smiled embarrassedly. It wasn't that he didn't know that the reverse scale was a good thing, but he had forgotten about it. Then, Night Sorrow cut off the five-clawed pterosaur's horn and claws and put them into his storage ring. Brothers, cut some good meat and roast it later, Night Sorrow shouted to the Tianji Tower team and the members of the blood-robed guards. You guys stay back. I'll take a look first and see if there are any dragon roots. If there are dragon roots, it will definitely go well with the wine. Lei Bao roared and pulled Ho Jian behind him. Then, he aimed at the space between the five-clawed pterosaur's hind legs. Night Sorrow, you're cultivating your body. Actually, that's also good for you. If you refine it into wine, it will increase your yang qi. Wu Lingfei reminded Night Sorrow and then turned to leave. She was a woman, so sometimes it was inconvenient for her to do so. Stop, that's mine. You guys go roast the dragon eggs. Night Sorrow shouted. He went over and pulled Lei Bao away. Then, he waved his reincarnation spear and found the dragon roots and cut them off. Captain, you're too shameless. But dragon eggs are also good. Lei Bao immediately changed his target. The members of the blood-robed guards and the Tianji Tower team worked together and cut off the 5-clawed pterosaur's legs to roast. At this time, Tianyu walked over and looked at the 5-clawed pterosaur's corpse. Then, he started eating. The 5-clawed pterosaur's flesh and blood contains enough bloodline power and vitality. It will be very beneficial for its growth, Sikong Chuyu said to Night Sorrow. After hearing Sikong Chuyu's words, Night Sorrow also brought Silver Fox over and let it eat some of the meat. On the other side, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu also released their mounts. However, Tianyu was willing to let Silver Fox eat with him, but he didn't allow the Dark-Feathered Eagle and Fire Phoenix to come close. Most D new chapter %, section, above Q, this made Night Sorrow feel very helpless. However, he didn't like to ask Tianyu for anything, so he could only apologize to Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Fortunately, Tianyu was full and didn't hog any more meat. Silver Fox's body was very small, but it still ate a lot. The 5-clawed pterosaur's body was very big, so the Dark-Feathered Eagle and Fire Phoenix could enjoy a small portion. Chapter 534. Genius 1 second remember love go/small? This is a wonderful novel for you to read. After reading it, Night Sorrow was pleasantly surprised. The Dragon Spirit Pill for rank 6 True Chi cultivators to raise their cultivation by 1 level required Venerable Realm Dragon Blood as the main ingredient. Dragon Bile was the main ingredient for Detoxification Pill and Clear Heart Pill. It was a rare and high-grade pill. After Night Sorrow finished reading the alchemy manual, Ho Jian and the others finished roasting the dragon meat. Night Sorrow cut a piece and placed it on a plate before bringing it to the tent. Aunt Fei, do you want to eat? Yes, I haven't touched food in a long time, but it's fine. Wu Lingfei nodded. Night Sorrow took out a jar of 100 herb wine and gave it to Wu Lingfei before going to drink with his brothers. Captain, come on. A little wine after a battle is not bad. Ho Jian said. That's right. After a battle, all of us brothers can drink. That's the happiest thing. This time, we flew back a bit faster than the demonic beasts. We'll probably have to continue fighting tomorrow. Everyone, be careful. Let's not talk about how many demonic beasts we'll kill. We have to fight in our own safety. Yi Shan reminded everyone again. After eating and drinking, everyone went to rest. They had been fighting for a whole day, so they consumed a lot of energy. Night Sorrow also returned to his tent. His tent was with Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. After drinking a pot of tea, Night Sorrow also began to cultivate. Time was squeezed out. Only by cultivating seriously would one's achievements be significant. Night Sorrow had the Spacetime Treasure Pagoda, which saved a lot of resources. He only needed to cultivate with the Xian Turtle Crystal. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, Hu Xiao and Qing Mang came to Wu Lingfei's tent. Lord Golden Phoenix, I heard from Qing Mang that you need desolate stones. There are 3 pieces in the Great Desolation City's City Lord Mansion's warehouse. Hu Xiao placed 3 earthy yellow stones with gray light spots on the small table in front of Wu Lingfei, who was meditating. Then I'll use life crystals to exchange with your Roaring Tiger City Lord. Wu Lingfei took out 5 life crystals and placed them on the table in front of her. Lady Golden Phoenix, that won't do. You've already done us a great favor. If we take your materials, we'll be embarrassed, Hu Xiao said with a bitter smile. That's different. Keep it. Wu Lingfei shook her head. Keep it, Lord of Roaring Tiger City. Our mistress Wu Kei will not take advantage of this. Qing Mang said. After putting away the life crystals, Hu Xiao bowed slightly to Wu Lingfei and said, that's fine too. In the future, if you need anything from me, just bring my words to the realm of unbounded desolation. You're too kind, Lord of Roaring Tiger City. It's nothing. Wu Lingfei shook her head. Hu Xiao didn't say anything else. Sometimes, words of courtesy didn't need to be said. It was more important to keep it in mind. Night Sorrow got up and started practicing his spear arts. At that moment, some demonic beasts had already arrived at the city walls of the Thousand Desolation City. Seeing that Night Sorrow had finished his cultivation, Wu Lingfei came to Night Sorrow's side and took out 3 desolation stones. These are from the Grand Desolation City's City Lord's mansion. What did Mistress Fei use to exchange for these desolation stones? Night Sorrow asked. I gave them 5 life crystals, Wu Lingfei said. Mistress Fei, do you still have enough life crystals? I have some here. Night Sorrow asked. He didn't want to pay the price for the desolation stones. He was worried that Wu Lingfei's cultivation base would be affected if she didn't have enough cultivation resources. Yes, I have a lot. You don't have to worry about me. I hope these 3 desolation stones will be useful to you, Wu Lingfei said. Then I'll give it a try when it's quieter, Night Sorrow said. The next battle will be a battle of attrition. You have to fight steadily. Don't take any risks, Wu Lingfei reminded Night Sorrow. Mistress Fei, don't worry. I still have a lot of things to do. I won't joke around with my life, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Living is actually a responsibility. You don't have to live for yourself. Living is meaningful to the people around you. You have to know that if something happens to you, many people will be sad. Let's not talk about anything else. Aunt Fei only has you as a relative. Wu Lingfei said sincerely. Looking at Wu Lingfei, Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He only nodded. He could feel the meaning behind Wu Lingfei's words. While Night Sorrow and Wu Lingfei were chatting, the others also got up. Some stretched their bodies, some looked outside the city to relax. Hu Xiao and Qing Mang began to arrange the cultivators' defense on the city wall. Hu Xiao arranged for Night Sorrow and the others to defend a 500-meter section of the city wall. Their responsibility was to prevent the monsters from rushing up. Captain, if we don't rush out and kill, it will be awkward. Ho Jian was very dissatisfied with this kind of defensive battle because passively taking a beating was very uncomfortable. What's the hurry? Don't you know how to play to your strengths and avoid your weaknesses? The number of monsters is astonishing now. Can you afford to fight head-on? If you want to fight, then do it when the gap is infinitely smaller, Wu Lingfei reprimanded Ho Jian. This subordinate knows his mistake. Ho Jian bowed and said. It was an honor to be reprimanded by the vice chief of the Tianji Tower. Ho Jian had to accept it. Cultivators need courage, but wisdom is also indispensable. Wu Lingfei reminded Ho Jian and the others again and directly returned to the tent. Wu Lingfei wasn't even interested in watching such a defensive battle. As for Night Sorrow's safety, she wasn't worried at all. Night Sorrow had the Spacetime Pagoda and the Golden Phoenix soft armor. Not to mention that there were no venerables among the monsters. Even if there were, it would be very difficult to kill Night Sorrow. You deserve it. Who told you to jump? You were reprimanded. Nan Liue said with a smile behind Ho Jian. You thought wrongly. It's normal to be reprimanded, Ho Jian said. The group of people talked while watching the situation outside the city wall. As time passed, more and more monsters gathered outside Qianhuang City. There were even flying monsters. What kind of monster is that? Or is it a group? Nan Liue pointed at the monster flying above the group of monsters and said. It's a silver-winged eagle, a 4th-rank flying monster. It's very fast. If we can catch it, it'll be a high-level mount, Sikong Chuyu said. Then it'll be great if we can catch it. We'll all change our mounts, Nan Liue said. You all took the beast-taming crystal, right? If there's a chance, we'll catch it, Night Sorrow said. Just as Night Sorrow was speaking, Tianyu made a move and flew directly towards the silver-winged eagle. NMBBL, he_W is Q, Steel P version K4. Tianyu's speed had already reached a limit. His speed was extremely fast. After flying to the periphery of the silver-winged eagle group, Tianyu used void travel and then pounced. A pair of sharp claws grabbed the root of a silver-winged eagle's wing near the periphery and then flew back. At this time, the silver-winged eagle group had yet to react. By the time they reacted, Tianyu had returned to the city wall with 2 void travel and directly pressed the silver-winged eagle to the ground. Chapter 535. A genius will remember love in 1 second divided by small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Knight Sorrow arrived in front of the silver-winged eagle and waved his reincarnation spear, stabbing it into the ground beside the silver-winged eagle's head. I'm not going to talk nonsense with you. Today, you have to submit whether you want to or not. If you submit, you'll be my mount. If you don't submit, you'll immediately become my food. Remember, if you submit, your head will touch the ground. If you're too slow, you'll lose your life. Everyone looked at Knight Sorrow, waiting to see how he would deal with the silver-winged eagle. You still dare to glare at me? Tianyu, eat it. Let's begin. Seeing the silver-winged eagle staring at him, Knight Sorrow slapped the silver-winged eagle's head. Then, he gave Tianyu an order. However, Knight Sorrow used his soul force to communicate with Tianyu, telling him to slow down and not kill him directly. Tianyu opened his sharp beak and pinched the back of the silver-winged eagle's neck. Being pinched by Tianyu's sharp beak, the silver-winged eagle's eyes were filled with panic. As Tianyu used more strength, the panic in the silver-winged eagle's eyes became more and more serious. In the end, it couldn't take it anymore and could only place its head on the ground, begging Knight Sorrow for mercy. Knight Sorrow took out a beast-taming crystal and told Tianyu to let go of the silver-winged eagle. With a thought, he put the silver-winged eagle into the beast-taming crystal. That's it? The onlookers were shocked. Knight Sorrow subdued the silver-winged eagle too quickly. It must be known that even if other people caught a flying demonic beast, it would be very difficult to tame it. However, Knight Sorrow did it in a short moment. The main reason was that Tianyu's level was high, and his soul force made the silver-winged eagle lose its ability to control itself. Knight Sorrow threw the beast-taming crystal to Yang Lei and said, I still have a use for this flying mount, so I won't give it to everyone. Let's continue to catch more mounts. Once we catch more mounts, we'll change them. Captain, I want to change my mount, Nan Liu said excitedly. Alright, let's begin our defense in a moment. Don't let the other silver-winged eagles attack us after Tianyu catches them, making us flustered, Knight Sorrow instructed. After that, Tianyu continued to capture silver-winged eagles. Then, he used Knight Sorrow to intimidate and subdue them. After that, he had Nan Liu put them away. Within 2 hours, Knight Sorrow had changed the mounts of several members of the Tianji Tower team. However, Lei Bao and Lei Zheng were still using the Thunderbird, and Qin Zhen was still using the Tiger Hawk. They didn't change because they had feelings for their mounts, and their mounts had room for improvement. The other reason was to give the others a chance. Haha. Is it our Blood Strike Guard's turn next? Xue Ling said excitedly. Of course. We have to finish this before the demonic beasts finish gathering. Otherwise, it will be very troublesome if the demonic beasts start to attack. Also, pay attention to our defense. Knight Sorrow said. Now, every time Tianyu caught a silver-winged eagle, a group of silver-winged eagles would chase after them and attack them. The next time the silver-winged eagles attack, I will help you. Wu Lingfei walked out of the tent. She was very clear about the commotion caused by Knight Sorrow. Aunt Fei, that's not appropriate. Didn't we agree that the Venerable wouldn't help? Knight Sorrow said. Wu Lingfei thought for a moment and said, that's true. You can communicate with the city lord's mansion and get a large net. When the silver-winged eagles come over, you can use the net to capture them and then use the method just now to subdue them. This way, it will be more efficient. After that, Knight Sorrow communicated with the commander of the city lord's mansion and asked for 6 or 7 large nets. Then, the group got busy. Everyone used the nets to capture the silver-winged eagles, and after controlling them, they let Tianyu subdue them. Originally, the silver-winged eagles were very troublesome and disobedient. However, after being restrained by Tianyu, they became obedient and were quickly subdued. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. The commotion caused by Night Sorrow and the others was very big. The people on both sides knew what Night Sorrow and the others were doing. However, they could only be envious. First of all, the silver-winged eagles didn't go to their area because the silver-winged eagles were provoked by Tianyu when they flew over to attack. Love Go Little Say W, Chu Qing Mang and Hu Xiao came over to watch. They were very impressed by Night Sorrow and the others' method of subduing the silver-winged eagles. When they first started subduing the silver-winged eagles, it was considered a form of violent taming. After accumulating enough experience, Night Sorrow asked everyone to line up the silver-winged eagles that they had subdued along the edge of the city wall to intimidate the unsubdued silver-winged eagles. This way, it would be easier to destroy the willpower of the unsubdued silver-winged eagles. The number of silver-winged eagles started to decrease. No matter how many of them there were, they couldn't withstand Night Sorrow and the others' continuous capture. When the demon beasts finished gathering in the afternoon and were about to fight as one, Night Sorrow's operation could be considered a success. Not only had all the Blood Strike Guards mounts been replaced, but Night Sorrow had also obtained more than 10 spares. He planned to bring them back to the Medicine Valley and give them to his senior brothers and sisters. The third-grade Green Eagle couldn't keep up with the pace anymore. The problem that I've always wanted to solve is now solved. Is everyone happy? Night Sorrow shouted at the members of the Tianji Tower team and the Blood Strike Guard team. What answered Night Sorrow was a high-spirited roar. Last time, the captain said that he would help us get mounts if he had the chance. I thought it was a joke, but now it has become a reality. This is simply unbelievable, Nan Liu'e said with some emotion. It wasn't that they hadn't encountered high-level flying demon beasts before, but they were very difficult to capture. Even if they did capture them, they were very difficult to tame. This was also the reason why there were so few high-level flying mounts. Not bad. It's very rare to be able to catch something before the big battle. However, there will be a process of adaptation for new flying mounts. You will have to wait until after the big battle before you use them, Wu Lingfei said. The silver-winged eagle king didn't come over. We caught it when we came over and gave it to you as a mount, even though you don't really need it, Night Sorrow said with a smile. If you want to give it to me, I'll take it, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. Said Wu Lingfei with a smile. In truth, mounts were meaningless to her. Of course, mounts of exalts were an exception. But in fact, venerables were just a theory. Flying demonic beasts of the venerable realm were extremely powerful. It was almost impossible for them to be captured. Even if they could not fight, they could still run away. Even if they were captured, they would rather self-detonate than submit because of the dignity of the venerable realm. It was even more difficult to raise a low-level flying mount. A flying mount that could enter the third rank was very valuable in the eyes of cultivators. A flying mount that could enter the fourth rank was a top flying mount. A flying mount that had the potential to enter the fifth rank was something that could only be encountered by chance. Even if a demon beast that was tamed by a human had self-awareness, it would be very difficult for it to advance without a great opportunity. Great opportunity? If there was a great opportunity, would the master still need it? Would he give a flying mount? So the possibility of raising a flying mount to the Venerable's realm was almost impossible. While Night Sorrow and the others were chatting, the demon beasts began to attack the walls of Thousand Desolation City under the afterglow of the setting sun. Fighting at night was a bit inconvenient for human cultivators, but it didn't affect demon beasts. Many demon beasts were nocturnal, so their combat strength was higher at night. Everyone, stay close to the walls. If a demon beast climbs up, just stab it to death. Pay attention to your own consumption, Night Sorrow reminded the others. While Night Sorrow and the others were fighting, the guards of Thousand Desolation City set up torches on the city walls, preparing for a night battle. Night Sorrow stood in the center area. The sky-piercing spear with the five-clawed pterosaur tendon in his hand constantly shot out, killing the demon beasts that climbed up the walls. This greatly reduced the pressure on his companions. It could be said that there was no pressure at all. Chapter 536. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Wu Lingfei sighed with emotion as she watched Night Sorrow and the others fight. She had traveled to the 9 regions and 18 prefectures before, but she had always been alone. She had never been like Night Sorrow, fighting with his brothers and friends. She was a little envious. Yi Shan and the others were very excited about the battle, especially Lei Bao. When he was satisfied with the battle, he would roar. Even Qin Zhen, who was usually silent, would occasionally shout a few times. Seeing a white bear rushing towards the city wall, Night Sorrow violently shot the white bear with his sky-piercing spear. Then, he pulled the white bear's corpse back and threw it on the city wall. I've eaten a lot of demon beast meat. Actually, bear meat is the most delicious. After the battle, we'll roast it and stew it with wine. Guard, help me find a big pot. I want to stew it. Sir, don't worry. The pot and firewood will be sent over in a while. The Thousand Desolation city guard who was holding a torch on the city wall replied loudly. Seeing Night Sorrow and the others fight so passionately, these guards were very infected. Originally, when the demon beast tide attacked, some people were very worried and afraid. If the city was broken, the consequences would be very serious. But now, Night Sorrow and the others were facing the battle with a smile. This made them feel warm and at ease. Captain, there are so many people. One is definitely not enough to eat. There's still a white bear over there. Kill it. Nan Liyue, who was some distance away from Night Sorrow, shouted. Tianyu, you go. Kill it and bring it over. Night Sorrow didn't go over and directly shouted at Tianyu. Tianyu, who was originally standing on the city wall, flapped his wings and flew towards the white bear. After a shuttle, Tianyu clawed the white bear's head. Then, he exerted force with his claws and grabbed the white bear's corpse, which weighed 2,000 to 3,000 jin, and brought it to the city wall. This was Tianyu's strength. Not only was he fast, but he was also incomparably strong. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to capture and suppress the silver-winged eagle. Captain, it's fine if you're ferocious, but this Tianyu is really domineering. Lei Zheng said with some emotion. Lei Zheng, don't you understand that birds of a feather flock together? Tianyu was just infected by the captain's savagery. Ho Qingjie said. All right. I was stupid. As Lei Zheng spoke, he continued to kill the demonic beasts that were charging upwards. The blood-robed guards and Tianji Tower's team were very united. This had nothing to do with their background, as everyone recognized each other. If anyone dared to say anything bad about Lei Zheng, then Ho Jian and Ho Qingjie wouldn't be able to get over it. This was their brotherhood. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao say www.aichuxs. Calm, Ho Jian, get the hell out of here. What the hell are you doing? You've crossed the line. Watch your side. Nan Liyue scolded as soon as Lei Zheng finished speaking. Didn't I finish killing all the demonic beasts on my side? Seeing that you have a lot of demonic beasts on your side, I decided to help you, Ho Jian said helplessly. All right. At least you know how to do things. Nan Liyue glanced at Ho Jian. There are flying demonic beasts coming. Ninth senior sister, Chu Yu, Ho Jian, Xueling, the 4 of you split up and go up to the battlements on both sides. Defend the areas in the sky that I can't take care of. Night Sorrow, who was observing the situation while fighting, gave an order. Yes. After hearing Night Sorrow's order, Yang Lei and the other 3 got into position and arranged the battle according to Night Sorrow's plan. Qin Zhen, you haven't reached the 5th stage yet, so you can't fly for long periods of time. Don't go near the outside and pay attention to whether there are poisonous beasts crawling on the ground. Ho Qingjie, come over and give everyone a detoxification pill. Then, help Qin Zhen observe the surface of the walls. Knight Sorrow waved his arm and threw a bottle of detoxification pills to Ho Qingjie before continuing to fight. Master Wu Kei, our Tianji Tower finally has a successor. At this time, Qing Mang, who was wearing a mask, walked over. She knew Knight Sorrow's identity. This guy's battle awareness is very strong. Also, you don't need to call me that. Just call me senior sister. Wu Lingfei nodded at Qing Mang. The battle continued for 3 hours. The city guards of Thousand Desolation City moved. They brought a lot of kerosene over and poured it down the walls. Then, they lit a fire to stop the demonic beasts from attacking and buy everyone some time to rest. The refined kerosene can burn for 2 hours. During this time, everyone needs to recover and rest. A Thousand Desolation City Guard commander came over and reminded everyone. Everyone, hurry up and recover. Once you're done, we'll eat. As Yi Shan spoke, he looked at the bear meat that the low-level guards of Thousand Desolation City were helping to roast, as well as the stew in the big pot. You're in good shape. You didn't use too much energy. Wu Lingfei came to Knight Sorrow's side and said. This is the benefit of body tempering. This kind of battle of attrition requires a long time. Unless it's a critical moment, I'll just use the strength of my body to fight. Therefore, I didn't consume too much energy. Knight Sorrow nodded at Wu Lingfei. Wu Lingfei looked at Yi Shang and said, not only has your combat power increased, your combat experience has also increased. This is very good. This is a sign of calmness and maturity. You are no longer the young boy who fought with Auntie Fei at East Snow Mountain. Aunt Fei, you still remember that matter. At that time, I didn't know anything and offended Aunt Fei. Knight Sorrow smiled apologetically. At that time, Aunt Fei knew that as long as you didn't fall, with your unyielding spirit, you would definitely rise. Wu Lingfei said with a smile. Aunt Fei, don't praise me like that. Knight Sorrow shook his head embarrassedly. He remembered that he was quite disrespectful to Wu Lingfei. Hurry up and eat, then have a good rest. Tonight's battle won't be easy. Wu Lingfei said to Knight Sorrow. Aunt Fei won't eat with us? Knight Sorrow asked. I don't know how many years I haven't eaten in. Today's dragon meat is an exception. Wu Lingfei shook her head. Although we cultivators don't need to eat and rely on absorbing energy to survive, I feel that eating can relax the mind and respect the laws of nature. Knight Sorrow thought for a moment and said. After hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Wu Lingfei thought for a moment and pointed at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Respect the laws of nature? Well said. In a moment, make some for Aunt Fei and call the two of them to eat in the tent. An hour later, the members of the Tianji Tower and blood-robed guards had all recovered. The battle had lasted for a long time, but it had been of average intensity and hadn't consumed much energy. Knight Sorrow called for Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu to come over. Then, he cut up a few large pieces of golden roasted bear meat and used a large bowl of bear meat soup to bring to Wu Lingfei's tent. This looks appetizing. 13, bring me some wine. Yang Lei rolled up her sleeves and said. Knight Sorrow smiled and took out a jar of wine. Then, he took out a small knife to cut the bear meat into small pieces and poured a bowl of soup for everyone. I don't feel any pressure, Wu Lingfei said after taking off her veil and looking at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Even if the sky falls, the big ones will hold it up. We're just in charge of fighting and doing our own thing, Sikong Chuyu said. Chapter 537. Geniuses remember love in 1 second divided by small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. I've tried my best. In fact, there's no need to think about the results. Sometimes, it's better to be simple, Knight Sorrow said. It's better to be simple. Perhaps you are a simple and uncomplicated person. How many people can see through simple principles? Wu Lingfei said as she took a sip of wine from her bowl. Auntie Fei, this guy is talking nonsense. Don't take it to heart, Sikong Chuyu said. She knew that Night Sorrow's words had affected Wu Lingfei. Haha. This is not nonsense. Auntie Fei has observed that Night Sorrow's actions and words sometimes contain deep philosophies, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. After eating, Night Sorrow led the two women out of the tent and looked at the other brothers. If you don't have enough wine, I still have some here. But don't drink too much. We still have to continue fighting in a while. Night Sorrow said. Everyone is almost done. Let's prepare for battle. Xue Ling said as he stood up. Then, the Tianji Tower team and the Blood Strike Guards gathered in front of the city wall. The situation is still very stable now, but it's hard to say what will happen next. We have to prepare for the worst. Be prepared for the monsters to rush up. When the monsters come up, we have to team up and fight. Remember, brothers are our strongest support. As long as we have brothers behind us, we don't have to worry about being attacked from behind. Similarly, we have to be good brothers' backs. Love Go Little Say W. Chu Night Sorrow looked at the Blood Strike Guards and the Tianji Tower team members and instructed them. Bang! Bang! The response to Night Sorrow was a uniform sound. This was the sound of the Blood Strike Guards and the Tianji Tower team members holding weapons in their right hands and smashing their left hands on their left chests. The Blood Strike Guards were all wearing armor, so the sound was very crisp and spread far and wide. Brothers are not words. They are actions. Alright, prepare for battle. Night Sorrow gave the order and went to the middle area to start defending. Actually, you can form them into a team. You'll be fighting outside anyway, so there's no need for two teams. Wu Lingfei came to Night Sorrow's side and said. That's not very appropriate. First of all, Tianji Tower's team belongs to Tianjin Tower, while the Blood Strike Guards belong to the City Lord's mansion. However, when we have time, we will need to get some Blood Strike Guard armor for our brothers in Tianjin Tower, Night Sorrow said. As for the issue of armor, we can resolve it once we return to the Eastern Xian region. As for the issue of belonging to different teams, it's not a big deal. You can form a team of your own free will, and it won't conflict with your background. Also, this fifth team was formed by Aunt Fei. Aunt Fei will help you arrange it later, said Wu Lingfei. As a bystander, Wu Lingfei discovered that although Night Sorrow's subordinates were very united, the two groups still affected their strength. After Wu Lingfei finished speaking, the flames under the city walls were extinguished, and the densely packed monstrous beasts once again began to charge. Tianyu, Silver Fox, you two take it easy. Don't stray too far from me. Night Sorrow shouted to Tianyu and Silver Fox, who were lying on the battlements on either side of him. Then, he brandished his heaven-piercing spear and began to shoot the monstrous beasts. Night Sorrow had extracted 2 tendons from the 5-clawed pterosaur, which were both extremely elastic and tough. Furthermore, they were even longer than the tendons of the Ice Flood Dragon, which made it very convenient for Night Sorrow to use them. As Night Sorrow threw his heaven-piercing spear, countless monstrous beasts that had climbed up the city walls were shot to death by Night Sorrow. The battle grew more and more intense. 5th-grade monstrous beasts and flying monstrous beasts continued to attack from the sky. However, before Night Sorrow and the others could make a move, the city guards of the Thousand Desolation City had already shot them down with their ballistae. As a strategic city in the realm of unbounded desolation, the Thousand Desolation City was well stocked with strategic weapons and resources. Furthermore, low-tier cultivators were constantly running up the city walls to deliver resources such as ballistae and kerosene. Brothers and sisters who have consumed a lot of energy, retreat and recover. We need to maintain our battle prowess at all times and deal with any unexpected situations, Night Sorrow shouted. Soon after, some of them retreated to rest. Everyone knew that this was going to be a long battle, and not the time to fight head-on. Night Sorrow held the reincarnation spear in his right hand, while his left hand continuously shot out heaven-piercing spears. Night Sorrow didn't just kill a monstrous beast with his heaven-piercing spears. As he waved his arms, the heaven-piercing spears and the dragon tendons vibrated as if they were sharp weapons. The monstrous beasts that were cut by the dragon tendons also fell off the city walls with their heads and legs cut off. Is there something wrong with the designer of the city walls? It's high enough, but why didn't they make it steeper? Why did they have to have a small slope to let the monstrous beasts rush up? There's something wrong with their heads. Lei Bao cursed. You're the one who's stupid. If there wasn't a slope and the city walls were built straight up and down, wouldn't the top of the city walls collapse after being hit by a few large monstrous beasts? Nan Liyue, who wasn't far from Lei Bao, replied. Lei Bao thought for a moment and said, "That's true. It's not good to make it too steep. However, this slope is pretty disgusting. Guard it well. It's a principle that exists. Let's not comment on it," Knight Sorrow said as he fought. Look at Captain's state of mind, and then look at yours. The difference is really too big. Nan Liyue once again disdained Lei Bao. Ha ha ha. You can continue to attack me. I don't care. Lei Bao laughed loudly. After joking with each other for a long time, Lei Bao had long gotten used to Nan Liyue's sharpness. All right. I admit that you've tempered your state of mind. Nan Liyue said with a smile. A head equals hair. Knight Sorrow didn't care about their bickering and continued to fight with the monstrous beasts that were charging up. Why are there more and more monstrous beasts? Look, even the single-horned elephants are here. I hope they won't cause too much damage to the city walls. Ho Jian said as he looked at the single-horned elephants that were running in front of the city walls. You guys guard it. I'll go kill them. The city walls still have to be protected. Knight Sorrow raised his chi shield and flew towards the single-horned elephants. He didn't want the single-horned elephants to threaten the city walls. He didn't know how long the monstrous beast wave would last. If the monstrous beasts destroyed the city walls early, it would be troublesome. Humans and monstrous beasts that entered the 5th rank could fly, but there were differences in flying speed. The principle of flying was to control the rotation of the chi shield. If the chi shield rotated towards the front, it would be flying towards the front. If it rotated towards the back, it would be flying backwards. The same principle applied to turning and left and right. If one could control the speed well, they would be able to fly. Knight Sorrow jumped down from the city walls and rushed towards the single-horned elephant. Knight Sorrow didn't put the single-horned elephant in his eyes. Its advantage was its large body and strength, but it also had many shortcomings. The biggest one was that it wasn't agile. When Knight Sorrow was about to reach the single-horned elephant, he shot the sky-piercing spear at it. When the sky-piercing spear was about to hit the single-horned elephant's head, the single-horned elephant swung its trunk and shook the sky-piercing spear away. Then, the injured trunk swung and wrapped around the dragon tendon, pulling Knight Sorrow over. Chapter 538. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Knight Sorrow's speed was extremely fast. Being pulled by the single-horned elephant's trunk, his speed became even faster. The single-horned elephant that had just used its trunk to pull Knight Sorrow over could only turn its head to dodge. Knight Sorrow didn't care if he attacked from the head or the side of its head. As long as the spear could pierce through, nothing else mattered. Poochie. Knight Sorrow's spear pierced through the single-horned elephant's head from behind its ear. Following that, the spiraling energy exploded, turning the single-horned elephant's head into paste. After killing this single-horned elephant, Knight Sorrow charged towards the second one. At the same time, he shouted towards the city wall to increase the vigilance. This was because at this moment, many rank 5 demonic beasts had arrived. They were all flying over, and there were many more rank 5 demonic beasts than before. Knight Sorrow's body flashed as he shuttled through the group of demonic beasts. He aimed at the single-horned elephants to kill them. He wanted to first deal with the crisis of destroying the city wall. After a moment, 4 single-horned elephants were killed by Knight Sorrow. His body flashed as he dodged the attacks of the demonic beasts. Night Sorrow once again flew back to the city wall and attacked the rank 5 demonic beasts in the sky. At this moment, the city guarding crossbows on the city wall also displayed their might. They continuously shot out their crossbows, injuring and killing the rank 5 demonic beasts. Steady your footing. 2 people in each group attack the demonic beasts in the sky. The rest of you continue to guard the city wall. Night Sorrow ordered. A bloody battle. Following the attack of the rank 5 demonic beasts, a real bloody battle began on the city wall. Tianyu continuously attacked from the sky. The guards of the Thousand Desolation City knew that these demonic beasts belonged to their own people, so Tianyu wouldn't be attacked by the city guarding crossbows. Night Sorrow handed over his position to Lei Bao and then joined the battle on the city wall. He continuously waved his reincarnation spear, killing the rank 5 demonic beasts that were charging at him. Zuo, a new $** chapter 3 Supra Youth blood-robed guards also shot flying swords at the rank 5 demonic beasts in their free time. 15 minutes later, this wave of impact finally ended. Some of you, go and throw the corpses down the walls. Don't get in the way when the battle starts. Night Sorrow once again returned to the front of the walls to defend. At the same time, he issued another order. Night Sorrow's side didn't suffer any casualties, not even any injuries. However, it was a different story for the other defensive zones. Casualties and injuries could be found everywhere. Therefore, the commanders of the realm of unbounded desolation began to arrange for the reinforcements. Those who have expended a lot of energy, exchange for recovery. No matter what, you must maintain a certain level of combat power. Brandishing his reincarnation spear, Night Sorrow continued to deploy his troops while continuously killing the demonic beasts that were charging at him. It's still challenging. I thought it was boring. Ho Jian wiped the sweat from his forehead. After holding on for less than an hour, the guards of the Thousand Desolation City came again to pour the kerosene and ignite it. By doing this, he could burn the corpses of the demonic beasts and block their attacks. Yes. The smell of burning demonic beasts is very fragrant. Lei Bao sniffled and said. Find a place to recover and rest. Nan Liyue, distribute them. Night Sorrow waved his hand and told everyone to sit down and recover. Then, he handed Nan Liyue some high-grade spirit stones and told her to distribute them. The impact of this wave of demonic beasts had been very strong. Although they hadn't been injured, they had consumed a lot of energy. This meant that they needed to recover quickly. They didn't have enough time to refine medicinal pills, and it wasn't very convenient. At this time, other than Origin Elixir, spirit stones were the best choice. Nan Liyue didn't hesitate and directly distributed the high-grade spirit stones. Even Qin Zhen and Ho Qingjie, who couldn't use high-grade spirit stones, received them. Don't play games at this time. Recover at full speed. After Yi Shang finished speaking, he took out a black tortoise crystal and a black jade stone. He sat cross-legged on top of it and began to recover. During this period of time, Yi Shang had used up 30% of his energy. If even he had used up 30%, then the others would be in a much worse state. Half an hour later, people got up one after another. With the help of high-grade spirit stones, their recovery was naturally fast. Those who recovered continued to add fire to the roasted bear meat near the city wall. They also heated up the meat soup so that everyone could drink a bowl of meat soup after resting. After Night Sorrow recovered to his peak state, he got up and put away the black jade. Then, he stood in front of the battlements and observed the situation of the demonic beasts under the night sky. Did you find anything? Wu Lingfei came to Night Sorrow's side. I can't see anything in terms of quantity, but in terms of quality, it seems to be inferior to the time in the Thousand Desolation mountain range. Night Sorrow said his observation. Because their purpose is different. At that time, they didn't launch a demonic beast tide, but a war. Now, it's just an ordinary demonic beast tide. The strong ones with potential have already retreated. Wu Lingfei said. In other words, the ones attacking now are all cannon fodder. The elites are no longer here. Night Sorrow understood the meaning of Wu Lingfei's words. Yes, as long as you can hold on for 3 days, then the next 3 days won't be difficult. However, these 3 days will be very difficult. It will be a great test for you. Wu Lingfei nodded. Night Sorrow understood the difficulty. These demonic beasts were cannon fodder, so they weren't afraid of death. Even if they couldn't kill the human cultivators, they would still exhaust the human cultivators. This was the demonic beast tide. They've almost recovered. Gather them. Aunt Fei, we'll talk later. Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. Then, Night Sorrow gathered everyone. Blood Strike Guard, you're from the City Lord's Mansion. Tianji Tower, you're from the Eastern Xian region's Tianjin Tower. Although you have a deep friendship, you're not a team after all. It's not appropriate for you to fight as 2 teams. Now that the team has been reorganized, you can choose whether to join or not. As long as you don't betray the Eastern Xian region or Tianjin Tower, no one will say anything against you. Of course, it's your freedom to choose. Night Sorrow, you deal with it. Wu Lingfei took 2 steps back after giving her instructions. Everyone is willing, but the new team will still have the same principles as before. You can't betray your brothers, the Eastern Xian region or Tianjin Tower. Most importantly, you can't betray the team. Night Sorrow said. Captain, it's not that troublesome. We joined the Tianji Tower, but we didn't sell ourselves to the Tianjin Tower. We're free to do whatever we want. I'll join, Lei Bao said. You talk too much. Don't talk too much. Nan Liyue glanced at Wu Lingfei and said. She was worried that Lei Bao's words would anger Wu Lingfei. Just say what you want to say. In your captain's words, it's better to be simple, Wu Lingfei said. If you're willing, take a step forward, Night Sorrow said as he looked at the group of people. Soon after, the members of the Heaven's Fate Royal Palace took a step forward. Captain, the existence of the Blood Strike Guard is to defend the dignity of the Eastern Xian region. On this basis, we're willing to follow you to conquer the world, Xue Ling said. Chapter 539. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by small? We will provide you with wonderful novels to read. After the team was reorganized, Night Sorrow appointed 2 vice-captains. One was Xue Ling, and the other was Ho Jian. In addition, Night Sorrow let Nan Liyue be in charge of the team's resources. She was also the team's resource manager. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao say www.aichuxs.com. Back then, my granduncle said that we might be competitors in the Eastern Xian region, but outside of the Eastern Xian region, we are brothers who fight side by side. I didn't expect that we would reach this step so quickly. Ho Jian looked at Night Sorrow and said with some emotion. Everyone is a fighting team. Let's not talk about the past. In the future, there will be no distinction between each other, no background, and only brothers. Night Sorrow said. Okay, you guys reorganize yourselves. Wu Lingfei said. We need a more domineering name. To be honest, it's really troublesome to fight in 2 teams. Although we don't want to, we still have to distinguish between each other in our hearts. It's so boring. Lei Zheng said. Love go small say, Chu, so Auntie Fei saw this point and asked us to reorganize. As for the name, everyone can slowly think about it. Now, everyone go drink a bowl of hot soup and prepare for battle. This is going to be a tough battle. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow went to the big pot and took a bowl of hot soup from Nan Liyue. In a while, the fire under the city wall will be extinguished. We still have to continue fighting. This battle will last for a long time. Don't extinguish the fire here. Kill the rare demon beasts and we will continue to roast and stew them. Night Sorrow said as he drank the soup. Hey, buddy. We are fighting so hard. Tell your boss to send some good wine. Lei Bao shouted at a city guard not far away. I will definitely report. The city guard nodded and turned to leave. Liyue, here are the clear void pill, detoxification pill, and high-grade crystals. There are also some mid-grade crystals. If everyone needs them, you can distribute them. Night Sorrow threw a storage belt to Nan Liyue. Love Go Small Say, Chu caret X equals standard H version E head hair T, I, Nan Liyue, swear that I will never be greedy for any of the team's resources. Otherwise, I will be struck by lightning. Nan Liyue took the storage ring and swore before anyone could react. Nan Liyue, what are you doing? We're all brothers and sisters. Captain's arrangement is also out of trust. Do you have to do this? Ho Jian said somewhat angrily. Night Sorrow's expression wasn't very good either because Nan Liyue had the intention to avoid arousing suspicion. Captain, I'm sorry. I was impulsive. Seeing that Night Sorrow's expression wasn't good, Nan Liyue knew that her behavior was a little inappropriate. I've said it before, brothers can be each other's back. Is there anyone who doesn't believe me? Night Sorrow said. But Captain, isn't this your personal resource? Nan Liyue thought of the key question. Don't worry, it doesn't matter how many resources we have as long as we have enough. I'll leave this matter to you. If there's a shortage, look for me. Night Sorrow nodded to Nan Liyue. Everyone drank some meat soup and then began to prepare for the upcoming battle. This time, the division of labor was more clear. Xue Ling led half of the troops to defend the city wall while Ho Jian led the other half to fill in the gaps. After that, they would be responsible for covering the sky. After the flames were extinguished, the demonic beasts continued to attack. However, the demonic beasts that climbed the city wall were all below the 5th rank. They did not pose much of a threat to the troops guarding the city wall. After all, there were not many 5th rank demonic beasts. 5th rank cultivators were rare experts. A few years ago, the highest cultivation base in the Medicine Valley was only at the peak void inquiry stage. It was the same in the world of demonic beasts. It was not easy to reach the 5th rank. In addition, the 3-legged ape king and the 2-headed flood dragon king would not send their 5th rank demonic beasts to their deaths continuously. The demonic beasts that were sent to their deaths were those that did not have much potential to develop. After a few waves of battle, dawn arrived. After daybreak, the supplies from the unbounded desolation region arrived. Some resources were distributed to the troops guarding the city. Everyone was risking their lives to defend Thousand Desolation City and fight for the unbounded desolation region. Of course, the unbounded desolation region would not be stingy. They had also distributed some spirit stones to everyone. Not bad. It's better than nothing. Nan Liyue said. After receiving the resources, everyone handed them to Nan Liyue. Haha. Our general manager is also very rich now. Ho Jian said. After that, someone sent a storage belt to them. It was filled with fine wine. Haha. The wine came at the right time. These 2 golden cows will be ready to be eaten in a while. Lei Bao, who was roasting the golden cows, suddenly shouted. Dawn had arrived. Even though the human cultivators did not have any fuel to light the fire and the demonic beasts had retreated, they still needed to rest. Ho Jian, Xue Ling, Liyue, the resources that the unbounded desolation region sent to us just now belong to everyone. It's not very appropriate to store them in the team's storage. Night Sorrow said. Let's discuss it slowly and come up with a more appropriate team rule. Ho Jian said. Then, you guys can discuss it later. Night Sorrow nodded. He did not want to get involved in these matters. It was fine as long as it was fair. After that, Lei Bao called for everyone to eat. Night Sorrow once again made some food and brought it into the tent. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu also brought wine into the tent. In a team, friendship is one thing, but we still need to have a system for resources. After all, everyone needs it. Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew the importance of this. Once fairness was lost in a team, it would easily lead to conflicts. Even if it was not a psychological problem, it would still cause negative emotions. Such negative emotions were fatal hidden dangers in a team. After eating, Xueling arranged for people to be on guard while the others began to meditate. After a high-intensity battle, it was easiest to improve one's cultivation base. Night Sorrow took the black tortoise crystal and sat on the black ice jade to cultivate. As his compatibility with Shao Kong improved, the energy that Shao Kong provided to Night Sorrow also increased. At present, it was almost the same as the energy that Night Sorrow absorbed on the 60th floor of the Time and Space Treasure Pagoda. In other words, as long as Night Sorrow could refine it, the energy would be endless. The monsters were very stable. There was no movement until noon. At this time, Night Sorrow also stopped cultivating. He was still a little worried that the monsters were so quiet. He was worried that they were up to something. There is nothing to worry about. This is a war of attrition and protracted. In the eyes of the Monster Kings, even if the monsters are eliminated, their deaths will be worth it. The monster's combat power is not as good during the day as it is at night. In addition, fighting at night will cause more damage to the human cultivators. The psychological pressure will also be greater, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. Becoming a God with All Tao, first release. No subscription required. Fans who want to read it first can come to the Cool Craftsman Reading Group, 3324483350. In other words, the battle will still be carried out at night? Night Sorrow asked. That should be the case. The team you led didn't suffer any casualties, so they didn't feel anything. The surrounding defense areas have endured the battle last night, and at least 1/3 of them have died. It's a huge consumption. Actually, it's a success for the demon beasts. Some of the demon beasts that were about to be eliminated managed to kill the elites of the human cultivators. It's a profit for them, Wu Lingfei said. Including the cities that they destroyed a while ago, they have profited greatly from this beast tide. Night Sorrow frowned. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.